is a shakedown.
I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm low. 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 Till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm low. I'll keep going till my speaker calm low. I'll keep going till my speaker calm low. I'll keep going till my speaker calm low.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these restless nights, all these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brothers since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could light the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till something changed inside of me. Now I'm flying over oceans. Everybody looking at me. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Qiddiya.
It's do or die here for ESL Challenger League, season number 50, South America Cup number 3, with the lower bracket final for one of these two teams to continue on with their tournament lives, and one's going to be packing their bags home. It's Laz and Paladin here to bring you through the action with a very unique and interesting matchup that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, excited to be into this one. I definitely feel like there's a lot to play for a team like ODDIK, who just missed out on the major, has a ripe opportunity to potentially get some VRS points, start on the right foot for that next cycle. You know, of course, all the talk of the town is Budapest right now, but there's a long way to go for that next major. And for ODDIK, I hope that they can use this setback as fuel to activate them in a matchup like this against the Gaimin Gladiators.
Yeah, no doubt about it, right? I mean, like you said, they've been able to play each other before, and then, you know, it was the ODDIK that was able to get themselves in a really good situation of getting that 2-0. So bring up the bracket here just to kind of showcase a little bit of how we've gotten here and all the teams they've been able to beat. As you can see, like kind of in the middle of the screen is that ODDIK was able to get that 2-0. Look, I mean, on paper, you look at it, you go, yeah, okay, easy day at the office, but it wasn't quite that though, right? I mean, let's not forget, like that was a pretty intense game on the Dust 2 that went to 22-20, but then really it was just full steam ahead here for ODDIK, and really they've been doing quite well.
Yeah, we'll get into that conversation about that Dust 2 in general, but I think the bounce back from ODDIK into the lowers, losing against Red Canids, who, mind you, are the team that is going through the major. They were the last invited slot team, and ODDIK lost to them. So that must definitely sting, all in all. But being able to bounce back from that loss, a win over Shinden, is a big one. I think that team is very underrated and can cause some significant upsets against a caliber team like ODDIK. So getting through that puts them in a very good position where I would expect them to make that consolidation final on Saturday. But of course, in order to get there, they're going to have to get through the Gaimin Gladiators, a foe that I think can be pesky at times, but should be very doable if you get the ODDIK that makes you excited about this organization.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think there's a lot of things that we can bring up about both these teams, right? I mean, I think we definitely know, I think in the side for ODDIK that, you know, there's a lot of really good heavy hitting players. But I think we can both agree from both our perspectives is that there's a lot of inconsistency. Like there can be these good moments where these guys are playing quite well, but then there's these other moments as well where it kind of just feels like it's not the same team. Do you still agree with this? Do you think that's still the perspective, or have things maybe kind of changed over a little bit?
Yeah, well, they've tried to make a lot of moves to basically get that consistency ironed out, but it never really has been that way. I mean, Coldzera's been added into sort of veteran leadership to add alongside Woody, and that definitely raises the floor a little bit. But I definitely think that there's a little bit of worry between the consistencies out of players like Punk, Case-Locks, and most importantly, Naite, and that's why we've picked him as our Qiddiya player to watch, because when he's on, he can absolutely take over a game, and he can completely turn the tides. I don't think these statistics give a clear picture whatsoever, but the problem is that when you don't have that big on game for him, that's where I think he can be a little bit of a liability. The entries go down, the potency of the T sides go down, and I think the tradability of players like Case-Locks and Punk definitely drops as well. So I think this guy is the soul of this team completely, and it's always very interesting to see how Woody likes to use that sledgehammer around the map.
Yeah, it's a good point, and I'm glad you bring that up because like Naite was an interesting one to bring up as the kid you play to watch, right? Just because it is an aspect that he can do really well, but there is the aspect as well that when he's off, and it kind of feels like he brings the team down with him, and like nobody's really able to kind of pull up the bootstraps and be able to do some of the other heavy lifting. But the problem is, it just kind of seems to fluctuate both ways. But look. We've already hit that one. Let's talk a little bit about the Gaimin Gladiators, right? I mean, this is a team that a lot of, veteran players. We could talk about that. We will have those vetoes coming in as well. So this will probably lead into the conversation a little bit nicely, considering that, like we said, there's Nikis, there's all these guys that are on this team. So it will be interesting to see whether this actually pans out here for the map picks.
Yeah, identity is very key for the Gaimin Gladiators, and we'll see where they want to actually go towards. And I like this. They share the permaban of Mirage, and usually, you play the bluff, you leave it till the second rotation, and you call the ban, then you force the favorite to take it out of the pool. But this time they say, screw it, we've got legitimately nothing to lose in this matchup. We'll pick into it. Ought to go into their favorite map of Overpass. Having Overpass and Ancient as the 1-2 is great, but having Ancient removed outright does neuter them a little bit. So I mean, the big ace of the hole for the Gaimin Gladiators is seeing what they have in store for us on that Mirage. I mean, I think about Legacy and the work that Nekias was able to do in his previous iteration on that roster, and Mirage was a mainstay. That alongside Lux's Mirage as well. Both a very, very important map in the pool for their respective in-game leaders. So I think there's definitely potency. I mean, there's players that can definitely handle it, don't get me wrong. But on the other side of things, ODDIK have played into it a little bit. They do get Train as well as a Decider, which I will always back Woody and the gang on a map like as that complex. But I think this is really a series that goes all through Mirage.
Yeah, definitely agree. And look, I mean, we do have a little bit of time. We're going to take that little bit of a break. But like you said, I think what's really interesting is this veto. So a lot here riding for the Gaimin Gladiators. Can they get themselves a little bit of redemption? We'll find out in just a little bit. All right, well, have a little bit of a break, and like we said, the first matchup is going to be here on Mirage, and that's the exciting one. Like you said, I think this is kind of pulling something out of the hat here to see what Gaimin Gladiators are going to be able to have cooked up, right? I mean, really, it either can be something delicious or it could be one of those meals you just toss away. We don't know, but I think in the sense that I took away from this veto is that I feel like ODDIK are in a pretty good position. This map is obviously the biggest question mark to me. And Les Paladin, do you have any other perspectives on that at all?
I mean, coldzera is always a safe pair of hands on this map. I feel like, I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, Naite, Ponk, Caselocks, I think their playstyles definitely lean themselves to work on this map stylistically. And then you're going to have the same conversations to go for the Gaimin Gladiator side as well. But the problem for them is this map is absolutely paramount to their success in this series as a whole. If they drop Mirage, you really don't have a pretty picture painted for the rest of the series. You look at Overpass, a dominant CT side that can be there for ODDIK. You've got Train as well waiting in the wings. And I can't see a world where the Gaimin Gladiators can respond in any of those kinds of situations. That this map really is the life and death of this series as a whole.
It is, and I think that's a really good point that you bring up originally too when we talk about the player to watch, is saying, you know, for a team like ODDIK where, you know, we were saying, look, like there's players like Naite that, you know, we put him as the highlight. He can definitely go beast mode. He can definitely put up big frags, but can he do that now? Can he do it on a map like this where it's a bit more forgiving than some other maps that I think we all can agree to? But I think that's really going to be dependent of like who's going to show up here for ODDIK, because again, there can be moments where maybe Naite's not playing well, but K-Slox is playing really good, or Ponk's being, you know, just popping off numbers too. That's the biggest thing for me, is I kind of just want to see, you know, all the players equally contributing, or if we're going to see, you know, really just a star performance. I guess that's the biggest thing to kickstart off this best of 3. But I think for Gaimin Gladiators, I'm more interested just to see, like, you know, Jota back in, Nikis and, you know, Barton, these guys that are well veteran names, of course, but we'll have to see how well they can mesh together, because like you said already, it's kind of this identity piece that they're still kind of figuring out a little bit for themselves, but they've already made it this far, so it's been very impressive to say the least.
Yeah, their run definitely has to be commended in that regard. I think for me, it's like, how do you ascend past a team like ODDIK and Red Canids and teams of that caliber? I would say that it comes down to the leadership, and it comes down to the identity that you're trying to create under this organization's banner. I don't necessarily know if Nekiz was that guy on Legacy. I mean, very clearly, right? You think about the ascendancy that Legacy has had as an org ever since the departure of Nekiz and the addition of Lux. That team is, you know, knocking Vitality off of their big win streak. They're making deep placements in lands, right? This is a team that is now making a mainstay at the bottom of tier 1, and that wasn't a hurdle that they could jump over under Nekiz. So there are a lot of question marks about what he can do with this roster. Of course, he's gotten them to a certain point, but now is another hurdle. Now, if you want to get into that conversation of tier 1 SA, this is the kinds of game that you gotta get over the line. And I'm looking at how he decides to put the chess pieces on the board, so to speak, and see what he can do with the lineup that he has, because he definitely has name value. It's getting most out of these names that is the biggest question.
Yeah, definitely, right? I think that's the aspect we talk about for leadership, is like, how do you find the comfortability for all your players to play their game in full effect, right? I mean, we kind of saw in the last series that these guys did play against each other, that, you know, Jota, like overall in the 2 maps, like he was probably the best statistic player in the whole roster. And then I think, you know, BSD was pretty much close behind him, but everybody else was that below 1.0 rating, which that does kind of speak to some volumes into this. So I think there's still a lot of learning curves and things to adjust, and that's kind of what you would expect with a team like this. But I am impressed to see that, you know, Nikis is somebody I haven't seen for a long time personally. Obviously, we've covered a lot of, you know, South American matches, but it is cool to see him back, and with some of these other names as well, to see what he can mesh and what he can create a little bit differently and learn from the mistakes of the past and do things differently in the future. But yeah, this is a tough opponent though. Like ODDIK is again a team that really are on the brink of being a very dominant team in this region, or pretty much are, arguably. So that's where we're gonna have to find out. But it does look like we're ready to go, and this is gonna be map number 1 on a Mirage, and we're gonna be seeing ODDIK taking on Gaimin Gladiators.
Let's see what the Gaimin Gladiators can do. Can they cause that upset? Can they cause a little bit of ruckus here? He's going to start on that offensive end, and I do like that the underdogs get to start on this offense. See what the game plan is right out the gates. What has Jota and Nikis set up here? It's just full plan, no kills really either. It's full Glocks across the board. A little bit of a cheerleader stack here on Underpass. I do admire that, and I admire the patience here from K-Slox, waiting for his teammate to swing alongside with him. Cold will find themselves a couple of ecos, and Ponk will mop up the last on that MP9. So, nearly clean sheet for the ODDIK crew. And Gaimin Gladiators now get the guns out straight away. And I think setting the tempo, understanding what's going on, it leaves this gun round with a lot of pressure on it here for Nekiz to see what the game plan exactly is.
Yeah, 100%. This is where we talk a lot about what his IGLing is going to bring to the table and what they're going to be able to do. And this could really set the pace, right? I mean, it's early on. It's only round number 3. But again, it really does kind of create a lot of opportunity where this game could go. Punk's actually getting really aggressive once again. He might even get the timing, and indeed he will. And look at that. His teammate was with him, but now they're just going to backpedal. They don't need to overexert this. So Nem finding the opening duel like this, and now just playing the hard defense, this is troublesome right now here for Gaimin Gladiators. They are in a position of down to 4 players only. And this is not good at all.
Yeah, it's very clear that ODDIK has a game plan with how they want to approach the CT side Mirage. Very aggressive in the early goings to get that opening pick and then play out the man advantage by scaling away. Deep smoke here from Woody, and he does peek right before it blooms, but either way, I think he's a dead man walking with how BSD was pre-firing that corner. So we equalize now at the 4s. And BSD decides to scale back. They'll leave Nekiz as a late lurk. I think they're considering just this B execution, and then with Nekiz with the ability to potentially cut off some rotations, some potency there, but K-Sox makes the rotation over, and coldzera still jump spotting over Van, so there should still be a CT setup here that could be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, and that smoke is actually going to make it even more troublesome too, because again, there's only 34 seconds and Cold's being loud as ever, but again, now they have to either, obey the smoke or they have to go through this. They have to make a quick decision on it. Time is ticking away. Cold now going to play more of a cheeky angle, and his teammate close on by. That could be a little bit of a bait onto this. Depends if Cold wants to, but oh man, he overpeaks it. I think he spotted the 14 seconds. The jig has got to be up. They have to get moving, and Cold still finds a kill. And now Natse might be able to just put the dagger into the back, and this round should be over. They just have to keep everybody alive, and that is going to be it. Case-Locks can't seem to find it. It's Joda that's able to get himself this triple, but it's going to mean absolutely nothing.
The timing nearly there to get Joda after time, but this is one of the biggest issues that I have with Nekiz as a caller. He is extremely slow in his plans, and the actual execution of it 9 times out of 10 takes far too long to actually come to fruition. And you see that there. I mean, the preparation is there. You've got the 4 players in apartments, you've got the late lurk on catwalk, but they just take way too long to actually go through their apartments protocols, and you get the second rotation in, and there's no player to actually burst open. Nekiz never really gets an opportunity to get involved. So unfortunate for the Gaming Gladiators, but that is a telltale sign and an issue that Nekiz has had as a caller. And to make matters worse, you're again sitting at the 5-1-4, you've lost your lurk, and you're trying to burst back into this B bomb site, but it's through a smoke right into Naite's open and lovely arms, and he racks up 3, and this is the wrong player that you want to get awake, Laz.
Ain't that the truth? Honestly, great hole from Naite, able to find himself that triple. Like, he's just down to 14 HP, and he's already trapped. Like, everybody's just here in the back lines. They're just waiting for him. He has nowhere to go. And now you can see he's just trying to scramble a bit of a gunfight onto this. And this is not a good situation. But for ODDIK fans, they're going to be ecstatic because they're looking really good. And like you said, knowing, Nekiz and how he's normally called in the past, being really slow, taking it a bit more methodical, ODDIK probably have a good read on this. Woody would know this as well, and they're punishing it. You can see they're getting very aggressive. They're throwing the right utility. Like, before even Gaming Gladiators could get out of the smoke, they already took a massive amount of damage from that nade and utility work. So you can see that ODDIK, it feels like they're like 1 or 2 steps ahead every single round.
Yeah, and that's the benefit. Again, as I speak about, the floor of this team is much higher than your average South American team. When you've got a reliable leader in Woody, and you've got a reliable veteran player in coldzera, the ideas are flowing and the trades are looking good. coldzera finds that instant trade, and that's the go button to go into this A bomb site. I'm gonna try to surge forward, and there's a real opportunity for Punk to find a trade, but he can't. Instead, it's Woody that's got to pick up the pieces. Brings it down to the 2-on-3 as the bomb hits the dirt. But this is going to be a difficult one, as they got to clear out this mid lurk and burst into that A bomb site.
Yeah, this is all about timing, though. Cold, he does have his suspicions, but Nekiz might be able to get the timing, and he actually lets him cross through. So he might be able to get himself in a decent position. You can see still slowly just making the pressure onto this. So he's going to be the player to watch this. Easy kill for him. And now it just leaves down to Woody in a tough position, a 1-on-3, and you got the op. I mean, really, it just almost feels like you might as well just try to keep the gun if possible. And I think he's going to be able to do that successfully. There we go. Gaming Gladiators are going to be able to get themselves, removing the goose egg, they're finally going to be able to get themselves a first round on the board. And you got to give it up. I mean, that was the opening from SHZ, really just kind of barreling in, going for that fight onto stairs. He was able to just create a bit of openings. And you can see that Ponk wasn't really prepared for it. It kind of felt like his angle was anticipating it, but the timing was good. So Gaming Gladiators kind of, not playing slow and putting a little bit more pressure on it, it actually works out for them.
Yeah, I like the simplicity of that round, right? You're speeding up the tempo after seeing the re-clear from ODDIK in the mid-round there, or the early-ish mid-round there on the mid-re-clear. And as soon as they see coldzera dueling, that means they know that there's a heavy bit of resource being dumped into that part of the map. Let's just execute and let's go into that A bomb site. As soon as they find Punk, the dominoes fall. But Woody's gonna still be relentless here on his mid approach. Finds Nekiz, and Punk is still doing work on the back of the ticket booth. And they're gonna continue to just try to go through these smokes, and they've just been met with bullets after bullets. It doesn't feel like these contact plays are catching ODDIK off guard whatsoever.
No, not at all. Honestly, it felt like they were, again, like I said, 1 or 2 steps ahead. This time, it's, feet ahead. Like they knew exactly what was coming. And you can now see the timeout's going to be called. And Gaming Gladiators must be the ones that are initiating it because, again, nothing is really working. They, this one round they had previously where they, stepped up, like you said, a simple round, a very basic execution. They try to go for something again like that. But ODDIK just, read it like a book, putting themselves up by 4. This is a really good position for them on the CT side. Like this has really looked, I don't want to say flawless, but almost damn near perfect, right? Because everything that, Gladiators are trying, it just seems like they take so much damage to even get themselves remotely in that bomb site.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the difference between this round and the previous round is you can't call that A play when Woody's the only guy that's out in middle trying to deal with that position. You had coldzera, Woody, and I believe Naite involved in the chaos of mid 2 rounds ago. And that is the key difference, is it's just Punk on stairs. So there's clearly not enough attention to detail here from the Gaming Gladiators thus far. And they're going to have to find a way to get past the fact that they don't have those details. They don't have everything ironed out because they've not played this map at all in the last 3 months, let alone even further back. So again, mid control the name of the game here. They're going to slow the pace of the round down, hoping that that mid re-clear comes again. But this is the round that ODDIK decides to scale back.
Locks. I think he spotted him. He did. I was thinking, man, just on the edge of that smoke, but not a kill. But Jota's taking some serious damage. He's already down to 47, so now coldzera might be able to get the perfect timing on this. You can see he's trying to maneuver on the smoke, and now it's going to be Naite. He actually gets a little bit of a peekaboo against himself, so now he's removed, and that's an opening duel right back here to bring it to the 4-on-4. Or actually, 5-on-4, just kidding. I just don't know how to do math. But either way, a good position right now for the Gladiators, but again, they have to be able to find themselves a little bit more than that, but that's not going to help when Caselocks is able to find himself a double.
That's the
just
bomb.
like that. I don't know what is going on, and that is the bomb.
I mean, this is so
awkward.
odd. ODDIK have left the B bomb site completely open for at least 40 seconds, and yet still, it's Gaming Gladiators on the back foot. Now they've got to re-clear this catwalk position with these 2 players, and they've realized there's absolutely no way they're winning this round. They're just going to save. What a brutal round to lose. And, I mean, if you look at the minimap from any perspective and you say, neither one of these teams know what's truly going on, it feels like.
Well, it's just, again, like, Caselocks being able to find that double kill. I mean, that just created the opening. Why not make it 4? My goodness, he is just popping off right
It's
now.
after time.
Oh, man. Yeah, exactly. And even after time, and look at the money. It's in shambles. Like, we're talking, what, 450? Oh, and Barton with 100. Like, this just could not get worse. This is looking real rough here for Gaming Gladiators. They cannot get their footing at all. And it seems like now ODDIK are the ones that are going to try to call the timeout a little bit here just to recollect some thoughts and some, some ideas. But honestly, like I said, Paladin, unless you're noticing something, I'm not, but I really do think that they're mixing up their CT side very nicely. We're seeing B hull pushes. We're seeing this mid control. We're seeing, opportunities where they're trying to go for some good fights, like, a little bit of peaks, underpass, things like that. It's a well-rounded mixture defense that I honestly am very impressed with so far.
Yeah, it's not a very stock standard approach to CT side Mirage. I think you're seeing a lot of different players in different positions, which is, of course, going to catch Gaming Gladiators off guard, knowing that you've got one map of tape realistically to work off of, and that's about it. But anything goes from deviating from that one map sample. And it's clear that Woody has done his homework with preparing this map for ODDIK to use as a little bit of like a pocket pick punish. And now They're having their eyes set again on this B bomb site. They've loved it for quite a bit, but they've just not been able to really get in through the apartment safely. And yet again, Barton now, no armor on him, is going to take a boatload of damage. But here comes that cavalry.
Yeah, they're just going to jump through this. They're just going to try to be the sacrificial lamb here, Barton. And he goes down, but at least it's a trade back. Now Naite just kind of posted up on the smoke. Woody, easy kill, and now they're just lining into all the crossfires here. This is just looking problematic, and Jota's able to get himself this one kill, but all be for nothing as he's down to 6 HP, and he's got 3-8 players to go against, and this is not a good situation. He's got lots of time that he could work with, but look at, they're about to surround him. There's so many different angles, and it's going to be done and dusted. A 7-1 already. Boy, oh boy, this is looking worse for worse here for Gaimin Gladiators. I mean, I know that was a bit of a mixed buy, but even this kind of, money situation is a little bit more awkward, and they could go for Gleals and some utility, but I feel like it's not grasping at the bottom of the barrel, but man, oh man, it feels like it's close.
Yeah, and then that's the big worry to me is what do you consider a win con in this situation? More kills? More map control? I mean, I could list a number of things off as to what those win conditions could be, because I can't really give you an answer as of right now. Case Lock's looking for something early, but he doesn't necessarily need to. It feels like these mid reclears have been so efficient. The way they've been able to hold on a catwalk and connector have been sublime. And Case Lock spots a little bit of shoulder, so he'll smoke deep and he'll hold on to con control to slow the pace of this round again. And look at these nades, man. They've just been pristine with their precision.
They really have, and I'm glad you bring that up, because that honestly feels like out of the 9 rounds, probably like 7 or 8 times, like this utility just lands. That's an opener from BSD, not bad at all. He gets a nice shot here on the edge of the smoke, so that, again, is creating a little bit of an opening, but isn't enough. The smoke going to get thrown here for Palace, but it's actually a little bit of a gap. I mean, SSH might be able to play through this, and indeed he will. He's dropped underneath. Can he get the timing? Not bad at all, so now they've been able to find themselves another kill, making this a little bit more uncomfortable here for ODDIK, and they got 2 players alive. They might even just kind of save these guns, honestly, because the money's not the greatest on some of these players. It's not bad overall, but yeah, indeed they will. It's going to be a hunt, though, from Gaimin Gladiators. They don't want any saves whatsoever. Aki's sacrificing his life for that intel. You can see how quickly they are trying to hunt him down, and now it's just a game of Survivor.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Woody's got 10K. At this point, you're hurting yourself by going for this hunt. It's completely unnecessary in your own regard. It's not like BSC doesn't have an AWP. I think this is very foolish in some regards, but they get him with only taking 1 casualty, so I guess it's all right. But
it is
Gaimin Gladiators get real fortunate with just the game script there in general. A poor Palace smoke gets that player out through Palace and down the ladder pretty safely.
Yeah.
They get through that under balk position pretty scot-free. There's a lot of ways that round could have gone wrong, though, and I don't think that's a round that can be replicable for the Gaimin Gladiators. So again, one of those rounds where you celebrate because you got that second on the board, but more questions are being asked now as to how you can continue that good streak.
Yeah, and just the fact that, like you said, the smoke from the CT side felt like it was kind of the point of demise for these guys that created just that little bit of an opening for Gaimin Gladiators to get themselves that second round. So like you said, definitely not something you can replicate. Like right there, Naite's just spamming him away, pops open the smoke, insult to injury, why not? And now, the thing that we noticed for Gaimin Gladiators are the 2 rounds is that the rounds they've won is when they actually win the opening duel for the most part. When they get that initial duel, it's been decent for them. It hasn't been, perfect, but that's what's kind of created them a little bit more of that confidence to get themselves back into it. But now that they lost the first opening duel, does that change things? Does it write the script here for ODDIK to be able to find themselves this 8th round? And you can see the double player onto ramp. Woody's playing some dangerous games here, but his teammate deep here by Ticket Booth. Going to be able to throw some utility. Gets caught a little bit, and that M4 is still singing all over the place. And now Niki's by himself. He needs to put up a clutch factor, but ain't happening.
Yeah, that's a really ugly round there from the Gaimin Gladiators. The poor trading efficiency to try and get rid of Woody there, giving so much room to the ticket player to get a free fight. There's no real communication going in between those teammates to try and trade out Woody or Punk from the back of the ticket booth, and it gives enough time for Naite to come back in. I do like the chemistry between coldzera and Naite there, where Naite's been able to get the rotation all the way through jungle, and coldzera is basically overseeing everything that's going on in middle, taking care of that chair player as well, so that Naite can never get backstabbed at the tail end of that round. So it's a combination of poor strategy from the Gaming Gladiators and pretty stellar chemistry being built up here from the ODDIK boys. And why not, right? Because you go on this 8-2 run, you're going to feel confident. This is where the game kind of plays itself in a lot of ways. I'm sure all of you at home have had a pug like this where any decision that you make can't be a bad one.
Exactly. All the things are aligning nicely. And now that mid aggression, like we talked about, going to be able to succeed on it too. So Jota goes down early once again. Case Locks mixing things up, playing con, pushes through mid. And now SSH tries to get a little bit more aggro into Pal, seeing if he can find the timing since the smoke wasn't there. Not going to happen. Bomb is going to be picked up, and they're going to retreat this and rethink the game plan. This is not a good situation at all. And Naite, if I'm not mistaken, he's already kind of making some presence here a little bit on Cat, just clearing things up. And Nikiz is trying to get himself with his teammate through a ramp to be able to find something. But I just don't feel like this is going to create any opening. They're going to have to hit the shots of their lives here to get some kind of a site opening.
You're going to have to do a dry for first, and then for second, you're going to have to get an instant trade. And I don't think either one of those things can happen. When one, you're getting naded to smithereens, and you got a T Molotov in your face, and now they were split apart because of that Molotov. And now, yes, he's going to have to make the silent drop again, and yeah, they're going to have to make some noise here, and they're going to have to hope these flashes are absolute poppers. So BSD does get some safe sanctuary with that flashbang, but you've still got this crossfire to deal with. That's a nice shot, though. Nekiz finds one, but
no,
they're going to have to pull away. Barton's got quite a bit of room on B, but they've got to hightail it all the way over, and I think that early warning sign of both Naite and K-Sox have got to kick in eventually, but they're not budging whatsoever. Finally, the penny drops, and it's going to be Naite in through that B bomb site that's going to have to put in some significant work here.
Yeah, this is a strong position for him to be in. Oh, that smoke might have given it away, but he only gets the one kill. Oh, I can't believe it. He just needed to keep his gun out. I thought he would have been able to find at least that double kill. Oh, man, he tries to extinguish the Molotov, but it just falls apart. And good reaction from ODDIK, just, you know, considering they lost a lot of control on that B site. And I thought, honestly, that could have been a bit of an opening potentially in that market play that we saw. But unfortunately for Barton, he couldn't find more than that one. But 9-2, the last round of the first half we go. And boy, oh boy, Paladin, do we see some double digits here or not?
I think we do, and unfortunately for Gaming Gladiators, even in that situation where you got to commend Barton for finding a bit of an opening, it's just unfortunate. That's just pure unlucky situations where you don't have a read on the Cat situation whatsoever. Naite's the apartments player. If he's not there, he shouldn't be anywhere. He should be on the A site. But that's not to be, and now coldzera is getting frisky here on the side of the catwalk smoke. He finds one before he goes down, but the man advantage is still retained, and K-Sox still is oozing with confidence here. The spray is a little awry, though. They still do have that man advantage because of Naite pushing in through the apartments. They've got eyes on Jota as well, and Woody will just finish him off with the 5-7. Why not? There's Barton left up in this one, and he's had a hell of a difficult map. It's 10-2 for ODDIK.
Okay, welcome back. And now we see we're in the second half for the first map, and ODDIK put up a masterclass performance here with a 10-2 on the CT side. Now the biggest question is, can they close the deal? But Gaimin Gladiators might still have something left in the gas tank. Paladin, question mark?
My sweet summer child, there is nothing for Gaimin Gladiators here. Case locks now with the P250 bursting out the A bomb site, and there you go. There you go. You can't ask for a better opener. BSD has already taken a dink, and they're going to continue to encroach upon this A bomb site. It is a tomb that Gaimin Gladiators are getting pushed into right now, and they fall. They fall so easily. Nekis try as he might through that smoke, gets absolutely eviscerated. It's just Barton to kindle these dying flames for the Gaimin Gladiators, but for right now, Laz, it's all ODDIK.
Oh man, you really just got to admire the gameplay here from ODDIK, right? Like, I mean, realistically, like the fact that you could see how they were taking that A ramp control and Tetris, like they just played it slow. They're making lots of noise. You could see the CTs were getting antsy. They swing out of the sandwich position and the balcony position. Like really, that it just felt like it crumbled so quickly, and they desperately needed it, right? Like being down a 10-2, like the classic saying of win the pistol. Yeah, you need the pistol and many more. So losing that round is not going to feel very good, and now they have to invest everything they can, of course, because they're already down. And if they lose this, it's going to be all she wrote. Really, it has to be. Well, good aggression from Woody though. Some utility, though, from the CT side to push back a little bit here. For the time, having this ladder control, already being able to push up this far into Cat. This is a nice position here for ODDIK.
Minute 30 ladder control. You don't see that every day.
Like full send, too. Like not even breaking a sweat. They're like, yeah, no, just go for it. You're good. You're good. I got you.
And now, I mean, even with Gaimin Gladiators knowing that Woody has ladder control at this point, they can't do anything about it. You can't double swing that angle necessarily. You can't reclaim that positioning, so you've lost mid, you've lost Cat. You're kind of gonna lose connector if they really even try at this point. And now coldzera's bearing down on A. Bonk gets out of the ramp, trying to look for a little bit of entry. Molotov is good, and K-Sox will eventually find his man. So that A bomb site is open for business. It's just Joda cowering away with this Deagle, and he'll find one, but re-aiming back into that A bomb site will always be very difficult. So it's these double scouts that will basically have to save or go through some incredible sequences, and unfortunately we don't get either. It's just an absolute evisceration once more, and it's map point for ODDIK.
It is, yeah, and let's not forget that, you know, Gaimin Gladiators, they were the ones that were kind of going for this this pick. We were kind of wondering what they were cooking up, but it looks like it's a cold meal. It's not looking good, because now they're going to need 10 rounds in a row. They have to play perfect Counter-Strike to get themselves into a conversation, or well, obviously getting to overtime, but just the way we've been seeing this, the way that ODDIK been performing, I can't see it happening. And now, you know, really scraping the barrel with the MP9s, the FAMASs, limited utility. It's not looking like a good sight here, and even Natse being able to find not 2, but 3 kills, that's going to make it a whole lot better here for ODDIK.
Let's push mid and trade out this one guy, guys. We can do it. Not if it's Nite. Yeah, he's 16-8 by round 15. Arcadia player to watch is certainly one to keep your eyes on as far as Mirage is concerned. Joda and Nekis trying desperately to cling on to some level of confidence for this team, but it's not necessarily going to matter. Just a few moments. Smoke fades. Arm spotted. Nekis should have been dealt with, but not necessarily. He's got bomb control here. And Nite takes significant damage, and they still don't know about Joda as that secret snake in the grass. So still an opportunity here for them to turn it around, but ahead now definitely spotted by Nite. And there's Punk to confirm it. GG, 13-2 here for ODDIK. The permaban punish pick for Gaimin Gladiators turns very sour very quickly.
Yeah, very sour. I mean, honestly, but again, a math performance here from ODDIK. Like, everything felt like it was just the stars aligned, right? It felt like the tea leaves were just reading that they were destined to get this map, because everything that they were doing just worked. Like, you know, they get this map control. They're able to, you know, have these really strong CT sides, the mixture that we talked about with the aggression and refighting some control, and the retakes. Like, everything was just fitting like a perfect glove. And honestly, I got to give it to ODDIK. This is what we were talking about. We said that this is a team that is on the uprise. They're a team that's doing really well. You know, a little bit of inconsistencies here and there, but like, this is when a team like this is playing like this, like, man, you gotta look out, because they are a big threat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you had the clear floor in terms of the strategy that this team had and how they wanted to employ their players in through that CT side. And you absolutely had the ceiling of this team, where you had Case Locks, Naite, and Punk all really, actually Coldzera as well, all showing up to play. So this rifle core looks so dangerous. And then you've also got that pairing alongside Woody's Calling. And you've got a real recipe for disaster if you're a Gaming Gladiator fan. So all things look great here for ODDIK. We're going to throw it to a little bit of a break, and when we come back, we'll see if they can complete the sweep here on Overpass.
going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. 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 Going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. 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 I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice.
Oh, hey, we're back and we're ready for map number 2. ODDIK show us a dominant performance on Mirage, but now we move things over to Overpass, where this could be, you know, argued a little bit more statistically, maybe well balanced in some degree. But Paladin, I got to get your thoughts here because, look, we saw domination on the first one. Do we think it's going to be the same replica, or do we think there's maybe some hope here for the Gaimin Gladiators?
I mean, I don't think it's going to be a 13-2 again. At least I hope not for the Gaimin Gladiators' sake, that they can just play more rounds out. But I do still favor ODDIK in this kind of situation where they've already had the reps on the CT side. I think I really commend Woody in terms of how he wants to approach his offenses as well. He doesn't overcomplicate things too much, and he just understands how to play the mid rounds very well. If there's buy-in from his players, his system looks pretty good. I can't necessarily say that about the Gaimin Gladiators, and I definitely think that this map allows you to be a little bit more slower, a little bit more methodical. But when you see the jugular and you got to go for it, you've got to rip it. And that's still that killer instinct that I think Nike distinctly lacks, and we very clearly saw that on the rounds that could have come Gaimin Gladiators' way on Mirage. And so I'm very curious to see if this change of scenery does add that little bit of a dynamic to this team, or whether they're just going to go quietly into the night.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, it's a good point you bring up too, because I was kind of thinking the same thing here for the Gladiators, in the sense of that a lot of this conversation has been the IGL abilities for Nikis to say, like, look, like, what are you going to bring to this? What's changed? What have you evolved? We didn't really get to see it on the first one. A map like this, in my opinion, is it really is a hard T-sided map. Like, I don't think it's the easiest map. You definitely got to know some good utility. You got to get some decent timings onto it. So I will be curious to see how well they can handle this pressure. Because if we see ODDIK playing on the CT side and putting that aggression into, to playground and to fighting into, fountain, stuff like that, it might be a rough ride here for Gladiators. It felt like every time on Mirage we saw that aggression was going against them, they kind of just, curled up and they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, and then if that happens on a map like this, CT side opening advantages are on a map like Overpass. 5v4, 4v5s to dig yourselves out of that as an offense is nigh impossible, because the trade game is so easy on these bomb sites. When you think about the crossfires that you can instantly create, that it's just impossible to trade favorably. You're gonna have to have some incredible moments from your T-sided players that it's just not feasible. So for the Gaimin Gladiators, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. They're going to have to deal with CT-sided aggression, and they're going to have to find a way to either stay in man-even situations or create openings for themselves to play into 5v4s. Because if you play into those 4v5 situations, this game is going to be hopeless, as we very easily saw on Mirage.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I'm just kind of looking at the stats, for this last map too, and it really was, for Gaimin Gladiators, the best player was Jota. Like, he was sitting at a 0.76, with like 69 ADR. Like, it was a bad time. Like, we're talking 28 ADR for someone like BSD with 2 and 13. Like, they could
That's your
not get
upper.
anything work. Yeah, exactly. Like, they couldn't get anything moving. Like, I don't even think I feel like I saw him with an op ever in that map, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he maybe had like once or twice max, which, like, I mean, just your memory on that should signify enough about BSD on that map, because frankly, we don't remember much about what Gaimin Gladiators were able to do on that map because of what they brought to the table. So overall, there's going to have to be a huge 180 in terms of the game plan here from the Gaimin Gladiators. I'm curious if they've actually selected that T side. It would be brutal if they didn't. If they did, rather, and play into that defense. But we'll see. I'm taking a look at like HLTV, and I'm seeing that they're in warm up on that offense. So I really hope that they've not made that decision.
I really hope so too. I mean, there is a worry of like, okay, let's play on the hard side first, and then we'll do the the easier side to make the comeback or something. But I don't know. I don't feel like for these guys that's the right theory to go off of, because, like we said, what we saw in the first map, it was abysmal, right? There's just nothing worked out for them. Like, everything they tried, it just got shut down immediately, and they were not allowed to make any sort of plays. Like, the fact that one of your best players was, 69 ADR with a 0.76 is really a bad sight to see. But on the other side, so far, Nate is keeping himself in the conversation for the KDA player to watch, right? We put him there. He did fall a little bit technically behind Case Locks, but that's what I was kind of hoping to see, in all honesty, is that we get to see both those powerhouse players really just kind of going hand in hand for winning a lot of the duels, winning a lot of openings, and that's what they got to do. Like a 1.86 for Case Locks, a 1.77 for Nate. That is not a bad day in the office here for a team like ODDIK.
And I do really like that they were imposing themselves a lot more. You think about Case Locks fighting at the bottom of Khan, flashing for himself, having that little bit of a lurk smoke, trying to play into Underpass, trying to fight in top mid with his cat player, and Naite with his aggression to apartments, willingness to go back in a catwalk, Cold Zero willing to rescind that position as well. So I really do like that give and take that ODDIK is giving to their players to let them shine in their moments and be willing to give the spotlight over to one of their teammates if need be, not kind of spinning too many plates at the same time. I think that's a real issue for teams that like to be aggressive, or say, let's be aggressive, right? That doesn't mean necessarily you fight on Palace, you fight on apartments, and you fight in middle, right? It's more it's a push and pull. You fight in apartments, you pull back away on the A bomb side, you give a little bit of space, and you make your A anchor play all the way on the back of the ticket part of the map. And you can't necessarily do both. And I think that ODDIK walked that tightrope very effectively on Mirage. And I think On Overpass, I'd argue it's a little bit easier, in fact, to get away with those opening pick attempts and then fall all the way back. I'm talking pushing in through the middle of the map, getting a pick off on Fountain, falling all the way back into the A bomb site, or maybe even, going aggressive onto the short side of things, or going aggressive in the connector and bounding away. There are all of these boatloads of options for that CT side. I think ODDIK are really going to have a field day here, but they're going to start on this offensive end, and I'll be very excited to see what Woody has in store here, because he's definitely made me pretty excited whatever little I've seen of him on this map.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I've always been impressed with the way he's been able to, call and the in-game experience that he brings to the table. So that's something I'm always impressed to see. But again, all the eyes are going to be here for the CT side of Gaimin Gladiators to get themselves some rounds and to be able to put themselves in a bit more of a buffer when we get to that second half. And you can already see the dualies are going to be purchased here for Barton. They have the P250 that's going to be equipped here for Bonk, and actually doesn't look like he's even armored up either. He's actually just going to commit to this, just the gun. So they get this mid control, not bad. And you can see Gaimin Gladiators kind of just, again, poking and prodding a little bit, slowly going for these rotates a little bit where they're kind of amplifying the fact that there could be an A hit potentially. So this isn't a bad read, but again, they don't have a lot of utility that they can push back, but Barton has now gotten a ton of information, so now they can kind of start to get themselves a little bit more set up. This isn't bad. ODDIK don't even have to commit to this if they don't want to. There's still under a minute remaining, and they are just going to hold tight.
If you're Gaimin Gladiators, you can't lose this round. Barton has got it in the palm of his hands. He's pushed all the way through Monster. Now he's wrapping in through Con for an early lurk, and 40 seconds left on the clock. They can't leave. I mean, Barton's well aware of this, so he's not jumping the gun. He knows that this is their only point of contact if they want to rotate back into the B bomb site. Otherwise, they're going to have to go barreling into A, and they're going to have to hit some cracking headshots. Here we go.
Well, the USPs are kind of making a little bit of a noise here, but they're going to have to find more than that. SSH is going to be able to find himself. This one is a little bit of an awkward fight and long. I can't believe this with 18 seconds remaining. This might all be falling apart. Now it's just going to be the Glock of Case Locks. Oh my dear goodness. And he's going to have enough time here for the plant. And this thing is turned around to the 1v1. Somehow, in some way, Case Locks now might be able to find himself redemption. But no, it's going to be the dualies that will deliver Gaimin Gladiators the first round.
It would be so heartbreaking for Barton after doing all that hard work of clearing out one half of the map, getting that early flank as well, and losing the round. Somehow, Gaimin Gladiators nearly lost that one. I couldn't tell you how, but the trades look so good for ODDIK. I mean, they should be thanking Barton and then some from saving themselves from a boatload of embarrassment.
It's very true, and it's really good that you bring it up because I think for the average viewer they might be like, oh, well, Paladin Laz, why are you saying this? Like, he only got one kill, he got the clutch, yeah, we get it. But no, like, it's the fact that he actually got the map presence, he was pushing through, he had all that information. That really, like you said, that put them on the top of the mountain in the situation that it was theirs. Like, they should have had it, but somehow ODDIK was able to climb up that mountain pretty quick and almost near got to the top as well. And the fact that it came to a 1v1 is kind of ridiculous in some ways, but nonetheless, the Gladiators will take it. It ain't the prettiest sight to see, but they get it done. And now they fully equipped into this. They put a lot of rifles on the board. With that bomb plant, though, ODDIK are going to bounce right back into this with the Galils and mixture of pistols. So if they can find this round, Paladin, this is really going to shut down the CT economy. This could really just be a bit of a blunder, really.
Good swing out there from BSD early, and he's still being an absolute nuisance here. Flash is good from a teammate, but the trade's even better for the ODDIK side. Coldzera trying to scale back in and push Joda off the angle, and he can't necessarily do that. Punk, meanwhile, trying to hold on to his positioning on the B-bomb site, and can't do that either. So the rifles have all hit the dirt, and it's up to these pistols from Coldzera and Woody to try and pull this one back. 40 seconds left on the clock. Swing back over. He can't connect that headshot on the neck. Whoa, that bullet right next to the ears of the in-game leader. Woody's now got himself a Galil, so an opportunity here to equalizing trade, and doesn't necessarily happen. Coldzera, though, with the Deagle headshot silences this Gaimin Gladiators defense a little bit, but he can't ever predict that Joda's still on long side, and Gaimin Gladiators will quell the force buy.
Yeah, that's honestly like, despite, you know, the force investment onto that from ODDIK, like I don't even mind it because they still were able to get 3 kills. It is going to damage that economy a little bit here for the CT side, or at least keep it really low, right? It's not allowing them to just kind of buffer up the bank. It still was a pretty costly round in some regard, but you could see there was a bit of an awkward fight towards Washroom. They really didn't, you know, get those trades properly. You could see that, you know, Gaimin Gladiators were trying to get the pop flashes for the swings, but ODDIK again make it very challenging, and they made it almost a convincing conversation that they were going to be able to get that round, but it doesn't go their way. So Gladiators have now put themselves in a 2-round lead, with something we haven't not been able to say at all in this series. But with that, you know, 3 casualties, they are still able to get these rifles. They have to kind of put BSD back on the MP9 just to keep that cash float for the op. But it's going to be Deagles afloat here for ODDIK with the Tech 9. So is Woody going to be maybe the first player of, you know, of contact? Is he going to be the one that like kind of takes the charge and just be the entry? I guess we'll find out.
Well, there's still definitely some potency with these pistols at long ranges. Never count out the Deagles. But maybe you can count them out in this round. Couple kills for Barton and BSD. And no real space being given on over from ODDIK. Or sorry, from the Gaimin Gladiator side. And these long ranges, it still favor the rifles all in all. Nobody really jumping the gun, giving way too much space. I say that BSD does drop a rifle, but it should be no harm, no foul. It's the MP9, the sole MP9 in the round. So you're not really giving up too much in that sense.
Yeah, now they're just like really hoping that someone's going to overswing onto long here, so those Deagles can maybe find a little bit of a connection. Both of them just posted up, hoping that SHZ is going to actually go for the swing. He's actually going to play this very nicely, just kind of, again, just checking the angles, just making sure. And really for Cold and Nate, I mean, there isn't a whole lot to work with. Yeah, you can already see a little bit of damage getting inflicted, but now it should be an easy cleanup, and indeed it is. So this defense is starting to look defendable here, Paladin. It's starting to look like it does have some merits to it, and it does have some prongs, but we'll see how long those prongs can be. But guns are back out here for ODDIK. They're going to have the AKs equipped, ready to go. This will be a bit of a telling round now to see, can the pace change? Can Gaimin Gladiators continue on their winning ways? Or does ODDIK, you know, kind of, you know, pull the rug under them, so to speak?
Ooh, this will be another one of those tall tests for Woody to see what he can get done on this offensive end. Beyond that opening play, nothing to really report from this terrorist side. Caselock's get himself to connector. They do have themselves short control as well, so opening gambit's looking good here for that T side. Naite will be that patroller here onto the A side, trying to find an opening, try to sow some seeds of doubt, and take some engagements.
Yeah, the fact that Naite's actually pushed all this way up is a little bit concerning here for the Gladiators, because again, if he can find the right timing, he might be able to catch, you know, the keys off guard. But his teammates right now for ODDIK, they're going to try to push right through on a monster, and no, those AKs, they make the full connections, and now Nate, he might be able to get the timing. He should be hearing these players rotate. He already knows one's there. That's an easy one, why not? And now the CTs, the last 2 alive, I mean, they're just going to have to go for this hunt. I don't think they really have the strongest position. It is a 3-on-2, but the fact they're so far away from the bomb site, even despite having all that utility, I mean, it's got to be worth just saving this, and I don't blame them. It's kind of tough, but I think they're just too far away to make it that, you know, kind of a effort if they want to really try it. Okay.
Yeah, that one definitely felt like it lived and died by that one flashbang. I don't know if it was necessarily a T-sided flash or a CT-sided flash. It definitely felt like it was a team flash in a way, but I think that basically secures the round at that point, and Naite shuts the door. But couple of small details to look at there in a kind of mid-round situation like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But good for ODDIK to be able to bring things back and taking a really good approach to just getting themselves back on the board and getting themselves there. And now Nalte's trying to create some opening, but he's got 2 players to worry about. But BSD actually still putting the AWP to work. We said it's been absent. We haven't been able to get that showcase, and we finally get it here on Overpass. And now Caselock's looking for this fight. Nikis actually goes for the pre-fire. He misses it. So now creates back to the 4-4. Still up for grabs for both these teams. Jota just holding onto the sidewalk, but you can see the AWP. It's still in washroom. It's scoping things out a little bit, if it's clean or not, but we don't know. And now the CTs, they have to play a little bit of this 2-2 setup, and this is a good position for ODDIK. They really do have themselves in a prime position to take this as a 4-man unit, and they could get themselves in this site.
They actually gamble. They'll have BSD hold down that long line, but long is wide open. And that causes some real concern if coldzera wants to encroach, and he absolutely will. How far does he want to go, though? How far does he feel like it's comfortable to encroach upon this A bomb site? Because BSD is lurking right around this corner. The flash is good, and eventually Caselocks will realize that BSD is still in the bathrooms. He gets hit by that smoke, and he hits the dirt. So the gamble does not pay off for the Gaimin Gladiators. Space is open now on this A bomb site, and this bomb should be able to go down. Call a save now for the CT side.
Yeah. Exactly. I was just thinking the exact same thing. Like, look, you know, I talked about it's a tough situation when you have to be on the CT side, but, you know, having these guns and kind of being in the disadvantage of the positions they were in, they have to save these guns. It's just not worth it. The money is so low here for both their teammates. They're in the grave right now, so they have to just kind of preserve as much as they can. It's a tough one, and that's the thing about the CT side, right? That's where it can be so unforgiving, and that's where you're playing the money game, and you have to think the long-term plan. But huge from ODDIK to be able to bounce, you know, 2 rounds in a row now with the only 1 casualty. That's going to be really, really nice for them. Just again, keep that money afloat. This is looking like a pretty strong little bit of a reconfigured T side that we're witnessing right here and now. It was feeling like Gaimin Gladiators had themselves a good start, and I was thinking maybe they're going to put up some higher numbers, but now they're kind of starting to hit that little bit of a wall. There's something that's, you know, just blocking them to kind of flow through, and a kill like that from Nikis is just so unfortunate because you can see he went for the pre-fire, gave it away, and then that big old swing was allowing them just to create some extra space. So just these like little technical mistakes that we're seeing from the CT side, it's really costing them a lot.
I mean, you think about the ramifications of losing connector, right? It pushes BSD all the way back to the top of bathrooms in that situation. It leaves long open. They've got to make a big gamble in terms of that 3rd rotation downstairs. And it leaves BSD empty-handed. It's like, yes, Maxi probably gets 1 kill, but he's taking a huge risk giving up such a key part of the map and also limiting himself to a potential singular kill rather than a multi. So that kill from Caselocks was absolutely paramount. And now you've got a real opportunity here if you're Woody and crew to equalize and potentially ice them out economically as well.
Yeah, some good mid control coming through here from ODDIK. Again, just clearing up a lot of angles here with the utility, but you can see that Gaimin Gladiators actually have put Jota here towards long tree, so he's actually going to allow BSD to kind of be the first point of contact, then he might go for the swing. A little bait and switch potentially, but look, it's like ODDIK's not even entertaining this idea, so this is a little bit of a worrying piece, just considering plan of attack seems to be towards this B site. Nalte's just trying to create as much noise as he can, lurking around, trying to find just somebody. They seem committed to this Paladin, and now Barton's actually going to push towards Monster even closer now. Together, him and his teammate on the left and the right. Looking for that combination if possible. But this utility being burned this early, this will not last that long. They still have enough time to go to.
The problem is Jota's pushed all the way through bathrooms. He's cleared out long as well, which allows for that 3rd rotation to come back into the B bomb site. BSD will keep jump spotting, but this will be a tough nut to crack for ODDIK. You've got 2 players hold up here onto the top of Monster. If these kills go their way, maybe they've got a shot.
Yeah, and that's not going to help. The fact that he went for the swing. So now, look how easily they just find this 1-2. Like, I was thinking this was a perfect setup here from the CT side. I thought this was going to be good. But again, over antsy and over swinging has cost them in this kind of a situation. Maybe not. Unless the CT can be able to find a BSD, he cannot. Instead, he's a dead man, leaving it all down to Jota by himself for the 1-on-3 with 46 HP, no utility left. No defuse kit, and he's gotta go. Like, he's just gonna have to save this out. He realizes, look, like, I don't have the space, I don't have the opportunity to find a quick kill. I have to give this up, and we're right back into a tie game.
I mean, you even have the 4th rotation. Unfortunate for Gaimin Gladiators there, because that's the best opportunity you're gonna get at holding the B bomb site. It's a really unfortunate first kill for them to, or sorry, first death for them to go up against. And then the trade potential was just not there. You need to be able to equalize that into the 4-on-4, try to bound away. But not being able to get that trade makes you question why that crossfire even exists if you're going to just pull away from it. So,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I think the CT side is slowly starting to show its cracks as the game goes on, Laz.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the ship definitely has a lot of holes now, and they're getting, bigger and bigger, and that's exactly it. And we saw that in Mirage, right? We saw that, Gaimin Gladiators, they had that, set up at A where they were in Tetris, and they had, the player under balcony, or in Sandwich, I should say, and they kind of overswing it, right? They play these crossfires. It looks good, like it should be a guaranteed, like, instant trade, potentially multi-kill, and then one of them just says, no, I'm actually going to swing this, and kind of disjoint the whole thing. And you cannot do that, like you said. It's just not possible. You have to be able to play the system with your teammates, and that's where we're starting to really see the exposed, issues right now for this team. But I think he spotted his foot, did he not?
He definitely did.
He definitely did, yeah. Look at how fast he's like, he's just waiting for him.
The worst part is he can't really do anything about it.
Exactly.
He just has to kind of watch along, but they have to be aware of this boost. That is one thing for certain. And Woody will take the shot. Doesn't necessarily find it, but on the swing back, Ekiz does have an opportunity, but Punk is diligent. Well done to him to get that opening 5-on-4. That threat is neutralized. Short control claimed. They've got Khan as well. The world is their oyster at this point. It's just a question on where they want to end up.
Yeah, and I love that they're not really making a lot of noise. Like, they're taking their time. But again, like, it's 32 seconds remaining. They kind of have to make that decision. You can see that, Woody's still kind of scoping things out. He's got the AWP. If he can make some noise, that might distract them enough. You can already see the rotating player here in A. He's kind of going, wait, hang on a second. I think they were towards this side, and now they have to clear him out quickly. But it's a USP. AK picked up, but not fast enough. This bomb's going to go down, and that should be done and dusted with here. It's a 2-on-4. M4 is going to be retrieved. I mean, the question is, do they want to try to go hunting for this gun? Do they want to try to see if they can find Woody? I don't think it's worth it, but they got to do something here in this situation, but they're scrambling.
Yeah, money's fine. I mean, if they want to hunt for it, they definitely have room to, but yeah, I think the prize ticket of Woody's AWP is something that has to be defended, and he's alone right now, which I don't like. I would prefer a buddy system for him. He's continuing to inch closer to that bottom of the con stairs, but he'll think better of it. So Jota will hold on to that A4, but ODDIK now hold on to the lead. And on the offensive end, no less, Laz, that is a dreadful thing to have in your heart there.
Oh,
just
yeah.
the feeling of you can see already the future of what's coming.
Yeah, it just took them a little while to warm up again, I guess. I don't know. They put a lot of energy in the first one, and then they're like, okay, hang on. We just need to catch our breath. And like you said, it's been 4 rounds in a row. Like, these guys have really started to find their stride, and things are connecting properly. They're keeping a lot of players alive in a lot of these rounds, too. It's not even like they're barely winning it, right? Like, they're winning it with a lot of ease, to say the least. And now things are getting a little bit more accelerated. People are starting to go for some runs. People are starting to get a little bit aggressive. Woody, I thought he was going to be able to find that shot. But Barton, can he find more than this one? He might be able to find himself his life. And now you can see ODDIK getting caught behind the smoke, and now they're kind of making a tough decision. Do we want to go, or do we want to leave this? And they're waiting things out, and Molly catches on to BSD. I don't know how Nate wins that fight, but it's an instant trade nonetheless. And now Case Locks is trying everything in his abilities with the Molotov still in hand. But they find a double kill. I don't know how we're in this position at all. Somehow, in some way, this has turned into a 1v1 with plenty of time. The bomb is down. It still has to be retrieved, but this could be an opening here. And I think Joda spotted him, and he does find him in the nick of time.
Beautiful entries from both Case Locks and Coldzera. The way they were able to just crack open that B bomb site was a thing of beauty. A 1-2 punch, you think it's over and done with, but Coldzera is well aware of how fast Joda can be on these flanks. He's done it throughout his career, and I think that awareness is eventually what costs him, because if you get the bomb down, I think it puts a little bit more pressure on the CT to make a rash decision. But in that circumstance, I think Coldzera just wanted to take advantage of the chaos that was going on in that round there. Either way, brutally close round for ODDIK, but this one doesn't feel that close at all. Naite and Woody decide to find two between the two of them, and they've sussed out where Nekiza scampered off to. They've got themselves a 5v2. They're gonna go barreling into this A bomb site. They should be able to right the wrongs of the previous.
Well, and the thing that's even more funny too is that Punk's just kind of sitting back with the bomb. He's like, okay, well, can you guys just go scope it out and I'll just go to the opposite site? Because, you know, it was 1:30 and we saw a triple kill happening for ODDIK. The fact they're able to just clean house like that, I just cannot believe it. I mean, we saw that once on the first map where, you know, there was multi different map presences and, you know, different kills, but finding an opening like that and getting the triple kill and just kind of eradicating everybody. And this should be the double. Oh, I can't believe you didn't get it, but very close, 1.5. And now for, you know, SHZ, this is really just trying to stay alive as long as possible, but really everybody's hunting him. This is probably the right thing to do. They got some money. They should be able to get it. Boy, oh boy, what a round. Very impressive way for them to just get these kills.
Yeah, huge work there, and now they get the freebie. Finally eradicating all these guns, and with all that pressure that they were able to put on the money, but so many 1v1s, 2-on-2s, keeping it competitive, they do get rewarded. Joda will have a hero A4 here that they can essentially boost around the map, but it's going to be hard to really back that up. 5 already just marvelous for ODDIK. 6 would be even better. And the chance at 7 or 8 is magnificent.
It really is. It just feels like they're in the best position right now because honestly, the more rounds they get, like you said, the better and better it's going to be feeling on that CT side. But even if they end this with, you know, them only having the 5, like it's still not the worst case scenario. But nonetheless, they're definitely going to be having a bit of a smile on their face that they've gotten themselves this far on the T side. And now Punk does catch Nikiz, but he's actually going to fall back on this. He's not going to re-aggress. A triple player stack here from the CTs in B, just leaving it on to BSD by himself with that M4 in hand. He's going to be the lone ranger here to cut through the cracks. And now Nikiz actually gives us a little bit of a highlight. He finds that double. And now the T's, a little bit of a labored attempt onto this. And now this is becoming a little bit of an issue. I didn't think we'd be in this spot. And now Barton's taking some big damage. So putting a little bit more reliance here for BSD to be able to find something. And now Woody should be able to get this kill, and indeed he will. But now BSD. Oh, the timing for Case Locks. No, no, no. Not like this. No way is he going to be able to find a timing like this.
Oh, but they're all already facing, assuming that this play is going to come through. And they're actually going to abscond back to the A bomb side. This is a huge call here from Woody. I mean, the smoke to stall out the rotation. And then the maneuvering back into the A bomb site has just secured them their 6. There is just no way that BSD can read this. I mean, these angles are just so difficult to clear. Case Locks might take that first contact and he'll just win it outright. Marvelous late round decision making there from the T side. And now they get to really just combo up the pain.
Yeah, you got to give it up to ODDIK, man. Like you said, that even the fact that Case Locks looks away at the worst time, like that millisecond of a difference, and the fact that the mid-round call, you know, it's like, you know what, let's just group up, like push some pressure onto CT spawn, and then they're like, you know what, he's not here, let's just go away, he's probably flanking. And like you said, that was a perfect IQ play, that was really, really well thought out, and that's kind of, again, the difference we talk about with a team like this that is very experienced and they have a good chemistry together. That was a perfect play and a really good demonstration of that. You got to give it to them. That was huge because a lot of teams maybe wouldn't have done that. I don't think Gaming Gladiators necessarily would have. They would have just committed to the B bomb site.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, ooh, it did feel like Woody was getting a little too cavalier with how he wanted to approach the long position, but isn't punished for it. It said Naite will get a boatload of map control to the front of bathrooms. And now Woody will continue his encroachment all the way up to that corner. Now, I mean, they can continue to just walk all the way up here. One opening, and this will also just continue to just fall all apart. Joda will go into the smoke, but that does leave Nekia's completely underhanded. Joda's playing for the round here. If he can't get a couple, then it's all for naught, but he's got him lined up. The spray transfer is a little unruly, but his teammate is there to pick up the pieces, and they'll get themselves 5 regardless.
Oh man, that could have turned into the biggest blooper ever, right? Like you were saying, like, look, Joda, you're in the best seat in the house, man. You got to get this double kill, bare minimum. And I mean, he got the 1 in almost 2, but man, his teammate really bailed him out. That could have been really bad if SHZ was not there, because this encounter was good. Because right here, look at this. Oh man, that's just gross. Thank you, production, for capturing that, because you hate to see it. Everybody's been through it, but man, oh man, it sucks when you're behind the wheel of that one.
Now, a last hurrah for ODDIK, and a necessity for the Gaming Gladiators. Feels like you can't necessarily win with just 5 rounds on your CT side, and Barton starts the proceeding off with a beautiful double. That flash hits SHG square in the face, and Coldzera will up the ante with one more of his own. Falling into Toxic Barrel, BSD has an opportunity to ice this one out, and Nekia certainly does as well. Nice off angle there to find one more. Leaves it all up to the captain. Hasn't really been called upon in this series, but this one would be a great feather on his cap. A swing in from BSD though, closes it out, and we stay even at 6s.
right, we're back for map number 2, second half, and it was a 6-6 as we make it through, and ODDIK does show us a little bit of life on that T side. Now, we're going to see if that life can be here on the T side for Gaimin Gladiators, because they got their work cut out for them if they want to stay alive here for the lower bracket final. Otherwise, they're done and over with.
Well, let's see what they can get done here. Encroaching upon this B bomb site. Double smoke. 4 flashes. And Punk up to bat straight away. K-Sox up close and personal with these dual Berettas, has a chance at quite a few. And he does find one, but swarmed on the other end through the water position. Coldzera and Naite now having to hold back the offensive front, pushing into these angles. But Naite and Cold get all 3. How do any of those kills come up the CT side? And how does SHG have an opportunity at this clutch? A 1-on-3 ripped away from him by Woody. Lead reclaimed, and holy moly, what a pistol round.
Yeah, I don't even get it. Like, I was thinking, okay, like, these guys were putting some pressure on it. I didn't mind that. I thought Gaimin Gladiators trying to get, you know, a little bit more aggressive, trying to get in their face, trying to show a little bit of dominance. I didn't mind it, but the fact they missed every shot, like, that's crazy. And the fact that we can see these pistols, the USPs being able to win that engagement, that should never happen. Like, those guys were tucked in the corner, their backs were on the boards, they were getting beat up, and I don't know, these guys just throw a right hand and they get themselves right back into it. But man, oh man, a 1v1 to put themselves there. I mean, ODDIK, honestly, it felt a little bit lucky in a way, because really 9 times out of 10, that should have been a Gaimin Gladiators round.
Yeah, absolutely. And now they have to suffer some dire consequences. A force buy into this next one. Nighttape getting a little aggressive for my liking, and he gets a bit of damage on that second player. But the trades are good, and they still come out much better than what could have happened. ESD now on 4 HP. Has to basically be a sacrificial lamb at this point, but has recovered an A1S, so still some potency behind him. But at this point, the Coldzera Woody combo should be enough to stave these guys off.
Yeah, Coldzera, I was wondering if he's going to be able to find more than one, and indeed he will, so that's actually a strong position. Maybe triple? Ooh, almost. SHZ is down to critical HP of 4. And he now needs to be able to find the perfect shots here to get these 2 players, but K-Lock should be able to get the deal done. Ooh, action timing! And luckily for Ponk, he's at the right place, the right time. Again, another round here, down to the 1v1. So Gaimin Gladiators are still putting up a fight. They just can't seem to get across the finish line. They can't seem to find their way to the winning factor, but they're getting so close.
I'd buy again. I think this is the best opportunity you're going to have to catch the CT economy weak before things really get out of control. And that's what they're going to do. Another repurchase from Joda and SHG on those Galeas. Let SHG run wild. He's been doing very well in these late round situations. Set him up on those post-plant situations, but they've got to get there somehow. And so far, they haven't been able to bully their way through. The nades sail right past the T's, and Joda decides to go through that smoke. A real opportunity at an opening kill, but Woody pulls back, the con player pulls back as well. And we slow down after a potential car crash was imminent.
Yeah, the fact that Woody's still kind of in this position and nobody's really contested him, that's one thing. How did they get away with 2 like that? I can't believe it. It's just a little bit of a surprise attack. They just go and dry. He doesn't do anything with utility. And it's the element of surprise that catches, you know, Gaimin Gladiators completely off guard, and rightfully so. Like, why would you think someone's just going to dry swing like that? They were not prepared, and they didn't react to it at all. So, again, ODDIK just throwing another little bit of a Hail Mary, and Nate getting away with murder, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be protocols in place to potentially trade out a con player in that situation. You got a player with the nade out, you got a player long range that it's lining up with his teammate and doesn't want to shoot because it's his teammate in front of him. It's nightmare fuel in terms of how they wanted to take the bathrooms. And unfortunately, lads, I feel like that's the game. I know it's ridiculous to call it 9, but now at this point, the finances for ODDIK will now settle down. You've got players that are going to basically have complete utility for a long while. It really all comes down to what do Gaimin Gladiators have in round number 17, because this one, they're going to be hampered, and the following, I mean, it's going to be a maxed out cash for the CT side situation as well.
Yeah. Like then Nate tried it again. Like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it one more time. Why not?
Ooh, hold on.
Woody, turn. Oh no, just a little too late. Nice pickup though from Nikis. That's gonna be a good one. Good start. So now they're gonna try maybe even this 3-2 split potentially. Oh, okay, that's a little nasty. Nice little bit of a rebound shot here. So just a little Tamborino. This is still not looking great. I was thinking maybe they were going to go a little bit quicker on this to get some map presence. Indeed, they won't. Now, Nate once again is just trying to be that pest, and he does get himself that kill with that 11 HP. Maybe a second one he will not, but man, oh man, again, 49 damage that he's able to inflict.
Joda couldn't believe it. He was like, how in the hell am I being still fought on with? Finally deals with him. He deals with Coldzera as well. It's all up to K-Slox and Ponk here on the back of the A. Bomb side, they find two between the two of them. Neki is now left up in a one-on-one. 15 seconds left on the clock. All the pressure on the T player to get the bomb, get it down as well. K-Slox doesn't have to move an inch, and Neki's comes right to him. It comes down to a 1v1. Real close once again, but close will not cut it here.
That was
lower
honestly
bracket final.
That was so beautiful, though. Honestly, you got to give it up to K-Slox the way he played that. Like, again, they knew his position was there. The fact that he just kind of quickly went to stairs, did not peek, did not even jiggle for information. He was just waiting, like you said, and the keys just fell right into the mousetrap. He smelt the cheese and he went for it, and his neck just snapped. And I mean, beautiful work, good movement here from K-Slox, putting himself at a 17-10. He's really just trying to go for that, you know, MVP of this best of 3 so far. Now a little bit of a double stack here. BST, oh, they got spotted. The barrel's there. That should be an easy kill. Actually, damage inflicted for both these parties. BST's still alive.
What?
I'll tell you, this is weird. This is awkward. What is going on?
Eesh. Cold somehow finds one, but they're going to go bounding into this A bomb site. K-Slox can't really join in, and that smoke doesn't even extinguish it. Hello. Counter-strike. Either way, K-Slox still gets into the bomb site, but Nekiz has gotten all the way up to the flower beds that there was just no preparation there. And this should be round over. That nade should seal Coldzera's fate. And Gaimin Gladiators, when called upon on essentially the 11th hour, they respond.
Yeah, they do. It was a really messy round, though. I'm gonna wash this one away from both sides, right? I mean, it was some poor efforts in the shooting department from both these guys, but look, the Gaimin Gladiators, again, only losing one, keeping the op afloat as well. That's going to be nice. I still can't believe that, you know, the gun getting spotted, BST was able to stay alive in that encounter. Like, that still kind of blows my mind, to be honest, because both him and I think it was Nate, like, they both inflicted damage to each other, like less than 20. And then even through the nade, I think it did like 1 damage. Like, you just could have been a draw, but it's not the case. But Gaimin Gladiators will keep themselves alive. Woody is going to go down, so a nice little bit of a pickup here before the bomber goes off. Now that money, not looking the best here for the CT side, so this is going to be probably some light pistols, potentially. Never mind. JK. JK LOL. I'm lying. Okay, they're doing something cool. Either they're going to look really cool, Paladin, or this is going to look real bad.
I think it's fine. You know, you're in single loss. You've saved over the AWP, so it's not the prettiest purchase, but if Woody can get your team a 5v4, then obviously it's been worth it all along. But Woody doesn't get that opening attempt that he was looking for, has to back away. And now the potency of the AWP has dramatically dropped. Oh, unless a head's just going to be given like that, but Woody can't capitalize. So he's got to fall away. And now things get a little dangerous with how much space Joda's been able to claim here on A.
Yeah. There's way too much real estate given up right now from the CT side. You can see that again, like Woody's the one that's just kind of anchoring by himself here at A. I mean, a lot of noise is being made, so I mean, Woody's going to have this intel. He's going to say, look, there's some guys close on by, like this could potentially be the hit. You can see the rotations are already coming through. Oh, doesn't actually get the kill, but it lands onto the arm of BST, so he's still alive. He takes a big brunt of damage, but now Punk's going to get caught here. Joda's going to maybe be able to find this timing, but he's just going to play it patient, gets an easy kill, and a 1-2 indeed, a 5-on-2 situation, and ODDIK, they just hit the ground, and they have not been able to get themselves back up. This has been a very clean round from Gaimin Gladiators. They take it slow, and it actually does work out very nicely for them.
And as I mentioned, it all hinges on Woody's AWP. Can he find any sort of impact? Not really. He gets 2 shots off, 1 connects, but it's not a kill. And after that, the swarm is automatically there. You don't even have the 5-7s to really bolster that AWP and potentially get a trade-off. So it's a failure in the force buy department for ODDIK. A chance for Gaimin Gladiators to extend this game to basically 10-9 unless coldzera can do something Herculean with this FAMAS in the round following. But Gaimin Gladiators finding a little bit more impact on this T side. I'm surprised that there's this much gumption with them still, but they're showing that they've got a little bit more heart left to them.
Yeah. They definitely are showing some heart. I was kind of questioning this as well. I mean, for a team like this, like when we look at the, you know, for Gaimin Gladiators, the statistics is like 9-6 on this. I mean, they have been able to beat, you know, they have been able to beat Crew. They've been able to beat like teams like Fluxo. You know, they have been able, like, way back they beat ODDIK, but I mean that feels like long time ago. So it's not like it's impossible. And I mean their T side, you know, win percentage is quite low considerably, considering their CT, you know, is 64%, and they're sitting at about a 44 for that T side. But nonetheless, it's still keeping them alive in this game. And this money situation for the CT side, that could create, you know, the opportunity for a tie game, and we could be right back to the big question mark of where this thing could go. When we originally felt like ODDIK were, you know, kind of in a little bit of cruise control the way that the later portion of the first half was going.
Yeah, it really felt like one of those games where, you know, an offense that isn't really that strong would just roll over. But now it's a little bit more in terms of the story here. Boost up for Woody and coldzera, and neither of them find anything. They'll reclaim that FAMAS, but they've lost so many players at this point that who really cares? Any damage would be nice for that FAMAS, but at this point, Gaimin Gladiators can slow the pace of the round down. Nekias doesn't really have to engage. Good defensive Molotov. They should be able to just walk up into this A bomb site. This Zeus could get a little frisky, but I do like that Joda took the wider angle there and going deep, which basically neutralizes the potential of a Zeus kill there. So well done to him. And now they should have themselves their 9th, no problem.
Yeah, that's a really good read. Just kind of realizing, ooh, that molly though, that actually might create a little bit of an opening here. Woody. Oh man, I was going to say maybe if he can just kind of play behind the truck, he might have been able to play a little bit of a different game on that one, but he was kind of getting a little bit hungry. He wanted to get around that corner and get onto the truck. Oh, nice shot with USP, going to be short-lived, but yeah, a nice clean round from, you know, Gladiators, considering, yeah, they lose 2 player, or they lose a player, I should say, but, you know, that was pretty much a very light purchase here for ODDIK. Now the guns are going to be back out. It's going to be M4s across the board, so this is a very telling point, just because if we can see Gladiators getting kind of that momentum back in their favor and that win behind the sails, I mean, the way they're playing this T side, it's bringing a big surprise to me too. I didn't think they were going to be able to do this the way they are, but I'm all for it.
And we kind of asked who that guy would be to provide a win condition for the Gaimin Gladiators, and it seems to be Joda. Kind of a one-man army with how much space he's taking over on A. He's finding a lot of critical entries, and he's getting a lot of critical multi-kills as well. It's really making this offense sing a little bit more. Get up to his antics over here on the long side, but this time, I was going to say he'd have to deal with the native AP, but not to be. It's just a jump-spotting player. So he can go all the way up if he so pleases, better of it. Instead, it feels like a little bit of a fake here, suggesting these deep A smokes will have offensive players behind it, but instead they're waiting behind the B smoke instead. Woody clearing out that position may give all that information over to the ODDIK side of what's coming, and they absolutely will. Punk will nail 2 down to the ground, and that should be round over.
Yeah, really good work from Punk. The fact that he's able to find that double kill. Now that extra smoke is just going to really bombard the game plan here. So now they're not really going to be able to have the time to pop through Monster. They're going to have to kind of wait things out, or they might just want to save this too, because again, you got the op, you have quite a bit of utility that's available, but it kind of looks like they might even try to entertain the idea. They're going to go for the paw flash. They're not committing to it, so maybe it's all a ruse. Maybe it's just all a little bit of a toying, but now they're starting to swing out a little bit here. BSD is kind of in the back skirts here, and now it's going to be Jota. Does find an opener for 6 seconds. Now they finally realize, okay, wait, we don't actually do have time to do this. Maybe they weren't paying attention to it fully. Maybe one more kill. That's not bad, considering that's going to affect a little bit of the CT economy in some degree, but nonetheless, ODDIK do get themselves right back into this game. They find themselves this round, and really good pickups from Nate, and the fact that Punk was able to find that double kill, that really, again, just put the nail to the coffin on that one.
And now, Gaimin Gladiators, luckily with how clean they've been able to win these rounds, have every opportunity to stay involved in this game. Full buy here. They'll go charging up the connector. They'll go charging up short as well. BSD with an opportunity with an opening frag, but Punk's not giving it to him. Barton's not finding one either, but they're putting on the pressure, and still, they're the one that hit the dirt first.
Yeah, and that's what we talked about on Mirage, right? We were saying, you know, for Gaimin Gladiators, like when they win the opening duel, like it feels like they can be back in a good position where they, I don't know, the confidence is a little bit more upright and they're feeling better to go for these engagements. But now that they're on the offense, they're down a man early on, losing your, you know, op player, that's not going to be great, because now they have to kind of recontrol themselves back into this, because this has put ODDIK in a prime position here to have the map and series point potentially on the docket. Nate playing very aggressive. He's hungry. It's a little bit of a labored spray. Now he's fully exposed. Can he get a second one? He will not. Nikes is going to be able to find him and put him down. He executes through. A big flank coming in from Woody. He just needs to be able to find the second kill. But at least he's inflicting the damage. And now ODDIK on to 12.
Yeah, that's well done there. I mean, yes, you get all that short control. You get all the way up through con. But at the end of the day, if you're not able to find anything off of that, you've got to find a way to kick back and move somewhere else. And they tried very desperately to go back up to A, but it was so readable. As soon as the sound is immediately cut, they take over that con control. They have the instant flank in from Woody, and that basically just seals their fate. It's a commendable effort from Gaimin Gladiators to push it to this situation in the first place, but it feels like they're running out of steam, Laz, and this is their last hurrah.
Yeah, it is we talked about the do or die, and this is it. They have to be able to find these 3 rounds to push to overtime, and then again, even when we get to overtime, if that's the case, it is all about pushing to a third map. It's not even like, you know, closing out the series, whereas right now ODDIK, they're in the prime position to have this thing moving on for them, and then they go to the Constellation Final, and then that means, you know, they can maybe get themselves, you know, the winners. Who knows? But right now, they're feeling good. They have a little bit of a buffer to work with. No ops going to be here for the CT side. Jota this time, being low in HP, is going to take the AWP for his hands. And now you can see ODDIK have actually put, you know, the double players into A. They're definitely putting a little bit more of a lean towards this B side. And Gaimin Gladiators, you can tell it doesn't feel like they really have the full game plan. And already a rotate's happening. This is starting to look like a read.
Yeah, it is. Because they've got short control. They know that there's nobody over on the B bomb side. You can call the 3-player rotation over here. Molly does flush coldzera out, but now he can stand and fight, and that's what he does best. Although, there's just flames all over that A bomb side, all over that truck side as well. And nobody is able to find any sort of damage off that side of the map. And now in this 2-on-4, what do? I think you just have to call a save. But man, it's the execution that wins the round for the Gaimin Gladiators, not necessarily the frags.
Exactly. It was the utility, right? It just allowed them to get that extra little bit of space. The mollies were very nicely placed. Again, just kind of made it very crunchy here for the CT side. But I agree with you. Like, it's just the execution that works. And I was kind of, really questioning it because they were taking it slow, kind of playing that old style that I was like, I don't know if I'm there, man. Like, I don't know if this is going to work. And I mean, thankfully, the flashes and the mollies just landed perfectly. Like, coldzera went for a massive swing on his own. He only got the one kill because he kind of had to, right? Because there was a molly behind Dice. So, look, they get themselves back into 10. And the money is, again, coldzera sitting at, about 4. He is going to commit to this. So CTs are just going to force up. They're going to try to work with what they can. They want to be done. They're going to even have the timeout here just, again, to kind of have a little bit of a pep talk to figure out what they want to do differently. But do we see this aggression, what we saw like a Mirage? Do we see them actually try to go like balls to the walls, try something, a little bit different, a little unorthodox, or do we just kind of go back to the old faithful, I guess?
Well, this definitely feels like overtime or bust because there's no money for ODDIK after this one. So if Gaimin Gladiators can weather the storm, maybe we've got extra innings on the docket. But yeah, it does really all hinge on this one. And no AWP for Woody. Keep in mind, BSD has that inherent advantage now. So if he wants to exert himself on this map of Overpass, now's the time to do it. And he's definitely looked for the attempts. You can't forget some of those short side attempts that he had in the middle of Fountain as well. But he's still yet to really connect and get those 5v4s. Instead, ODDIK will get themselves short control. Put a little bit of pressure here on the Gaimin Gladiators, and K-Slox is getting risky. He's getting real dangerous here. The nade up for Barton misses, and the head is spotted for K-Slox. Huge kill there for him. Left up on 6 HP, and should have an avenue to escape as well. Oh, just barely gets caught up by SHC. So we're back into the 4-on-4. And I think Gaimin Gladiators realize that they've got to speed things up here and take some map control and execute upon it.
Yeah, but you can see that Woody's just playing behind this little wall, and then you have coldzera just kind of playing on the back corner as well, so they're not really playing together. Jota's actually not even going to entertain the half wall. He's going to clear Cold, and Cold actually overextends a little bit. That jiggle doesn't work, but Notse, a beautiful trade immediately right back. They still don't know that Woody's here. 45 seconds. He's got the noise cue. Yeah, they're going right. Must have heard this.
Yeah, there's that second rotation. Already. Beautiful work here from Naite to get back in. 30 seconds left on the clock, and it's a seesaw here for the Gaimin Gladiators. They want to go back and forth, and eventually they're going to go back into this A bomb. But again, they haven't cleared Woody.
Yeah, he just has to sit there. He just needs to sit there. He cannot overextend this. If he can sit and get this one, if he gets a double kill, it's all over.
No
okay,
way.
He is going to commit to it. I don't know why he did it. He just needed to burn the time. There's 12 seconds. There's no one else close enough. This utility's going to push these CTs back. He just needed to stay alive. I can't believe it.
I mean, you have every sound cue there. That is pressure getting to the captain. 100%. If you had the self-belief that they wouldn't clear you in that situation, I think he gets granted 1, maybe 2 kills. Completely different situation at that point. But instead, that pressure gets the best of him. He decides to swing early, hoping that maybe a T or 2 had a nade out, but it's so late in the round that they just had their guns out. That's the priority of the round, is just to get into the bomb site. And he gets caught with the face full of lead. Now, as I mentioned before, there is no money for the ODDIK side. So you're going to have some MP9s to bolster these 2 rifles, but Gaimin Gladiators have a ripe opportunity at pushing us into overtime and potentially extending this series. Who would have thought it?
Yeah, I never would have thought it, but I love to see that Gaimin Gladiators are pushing the boundaries of this, that the fact that, we were both kind of not writing it off necessarily, but just considering how, problematic the first map was, and it wasn't starting to look good after they only won 3 rounds in a row. Okay, nice little bit of a shot from BSD. Now it feels like Gaimin Gladiators are starting to get back into the comfort zone. This is where they're starting to feel a lot better about themselves. coldzera, you need to be able to find a big kill right here and right now. They don't even clear him. BSD just walks right into the crosshairs. They're not going to be able to pick up that op. They can't. They got to retreat this. All three players, they abandon the ship, and I can't believe they get away with that timing.
Yeah, and I think SAG is just a little late to the party. He's going to still keep going. He's thinking that they've all left the A-bomb site. Naite is still here, and he does catch one straggler in Joda. That's a big man to take care of. And now it leaves it all up to Nekiz, and he still finds another. There's still a little bit of potency in this round here for the Gaimin Gladiators. coldzera pushes through the molly and leads it into a 2-on-2. Nekiz clawing his way to overtime on 2 HP. But it's going to be Barton that's got to do a big bit of heavy lifting. He spots out a couple of players. He spots out both players. The nade is in the right position, but it's not deep enough. And now Ponk will encroach. There's a crossfire being established here from the the T side rather. And Nekiz will find a 4th kill in the round. And he's going to do it all on his own. He finds the ace to bring Gaimin Gladiators into overtime.
My, oh my, all the way to the distance when it was looking grim, it was looking ugly. Gaimin Gladiators get themselves a second life here in this best of 3 on the second map, and they've been able to push themselves into an overtime situation. We were at a 12-9 in favor for ODDIK, but it just slips away from them and they lose control, and Gaimin Gladiators have now put themselves on the brink of maybe, just maybe, to push this thing all the way to the 3rd and final map of Train, but we will have to find out who will be taking that overpass.
Didn't think we would get here. I mean, you can call me a moron after I called the game at 10-6, and you'd be right. This game still has a lot more twists and tails yet. But now, the problem is for the Gaimin Gladiators is they've had to go up against quite a number of underhanded buys with a weird game script. And now they're going to have to do it the hard way. They're going to have to go up against a fully equipped CT side, but BSD does not care. Oh my goodness. How has he gotten 2 kills just like that?
Yeah, it's really, really good work and good marksmanship here from BSD and finally putting this off. We said that it was very absent on map number 1, and now he's really starting to showcase why he's good with it. And coldzera, I don't know how you get away with that. Retreating to get the double kill. Bouncing this situation back to the 3-3. I was thinking this could have been a Gladiators round just despite, BSD just finding these openers the way he did. Now Ponk's going to be able to get this backstab. It's going to be an easy kill. The trigger discipline, he's just going to scope things out. He's like, you know what? No, I'm going to go. I'm going to finish this appetizer and now look for the main course of these last 2 players. And the bomb is all the way in the back of Long, and they're about to get sandwiched in here.
Oh, Case-Lox is in such a premium position at this point. You've got trade potential between coldzera and Ponk that's also brewing. This should be a CT round. But coldzera actually decides to leave. Molly does not actually hit the ground, so a chance for Barton to surge forward. BSD right behind him. Oh, but that nade is beautiful. And you'd think it was destined for BSD's body, but it doesn't fully connect. Molotov does actually force Punk forward. coldzera goes down into the AWP as well, and now Caselox is caught between a rock and a hard place. He can't necessarily find BSD in all that smoke and commotion. And this 1v2 has turned into an absolute nightmare. Back turn, Barton capitalizes. How in God's name has ODDIK just squandered their chances there?
I don't get it. It's just some mistakes again that we're seeing from ODDIK, right? Like the utility, like you said, that Molotov just a bit premature on throwing it. And then we see that again, like in a situation where Gaimin Gladiators, it felt like everything was against them. They're able to pull through, and BSD was able to get himself that triple kill. It was Barton able to find the last two. So these guys single-handedly putting up some really big numbers in that previous round, but ODDIK are starting to fall asleep a little bit behind the wheel. It was looking like they were making the comeback tour, but now it might be a one-stop shop here, potentially an Overpass. And Gaimin Gladiators have put a lot of eyes onto this one, saying that they can still pack a really good punch and they can bring a lot to this. I love that we're seeing that BSD's just activated the AWP the way he has. It's created so much space, and even Jota like sitting at 24 and 12. I remember you said in the beginning, like a one-man army. It definitely kind of feels like in some regard, but now BSD, he's trying to, despite his 13-16, he is trying to make, a really good name for himself here in this series.
Absolutely. It's going to take these ugly rounds for Gaimin Gladiators to get it over the line. ODDIK don't really necessarily like this level of chaos. They haven't been able to thrive in it as much as you'd expect. Woody with an opportunity at an opening can't capitalize, but Naite will do him one better. He gets to fall away as well. He'll get to sit on this 5v4. We spoke about the advantages that a 5v4 brings to the defensive end. Now it's ODDIK's job to hold on to that advantage.
Yeah, Naite now, again, just trying to re-aggress onto this. He might be able to. The crosshairs in the wrong placement, but look at how fast Gladiators able to find that like double kill instantly, right? It feels like that's what they've been able to do here on Overpass, and now coldzera just hugging the corner. He's going to get checked. He's going to get cleared. These mollies are getting thrown. Flashbang lands. He is blind as a bat, and now the noise cue being made. A player just running through the flames, and now we're going to see the Gladiators get this bomb down. A 1-on-4. Punk's gonna have to do something magical here. He's got that HE. He does have a defuse kit available in the pocket, but again, you have to worry about 4 different players to go against. Is he gonna try to slow Ninja?
He doesn't have a smoke, so I mean, can't really do much. This is bad. This is a nightmare for ODDIK. They have now fumbled back-to-back situations where they have been given a fortune of a round in the palm of their hand, and they've been able to capitalize neither situation. In that 5-on-4 there, surging forward, when you've got all the information that they're taking front bathrooms control, you're going in dry, keeping your AWP in harm's way, and forcing Naite to take an uncomfortable fight that he was never going to win. It's not like he's having an insane game right now that you want to just ride the hot hand and see what he can do. He's struggling. And instead of, I don't know, playing the crossfires as we've kind of spoken about, the potency of those crossfires, they gift on over that 14th round over to the Gaimin Gladiators. And now the ball is in the T-side's court to close this one out and send us to train, because right now, ODDIK have completely run out of steam.
Yeah, it really does feel like that, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's the same team. It feels like they've just kind of hit this plateau and they can't get out of it. Now Woody's just not been able to find these connections with the AWP. He just kind of keeps making noise with it. Now he's not really bringing that influence he was before. Now Barton's going to be able to find himself a good opener. Now, again, this defense has to kind of rely on somebody finding another duel, but that's a double picked up. Now you can see Naite still just trying to go for this fight. Will get punished for it. So now Gladiators on a prime position here to get this 15th round. A 2-on-5 situation here for Caselox and coldzera. They're going to have to find something. Noise key's already being made. SHC pushing through. A knife to a gunfight. Yeah, sure, it's going to work out nicely here for coldzera, but that bomb is still kind of floating in the back of mid. They haven't really committed to the game plan still. There's a lot of thought process here from the Gladiators.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it doesn't really matter where they end up because they've sussed out that Case Locks is here. Case Locks is going to need at least 2, and he doesn't get even 1. So the flank from coldzera is here, but it's a little too late. They got to clear this guy out in just a little bit.
Nope.
Matter of time, and there it is. Clean sheet for the Gaming Gladiators, and this is an abhorrent collapse here from ODDIK. The series essentially in the palm of their hand, having disintegrated in a matter of 20 minutes. And now, an opportunity for the Gaming Gladiators to put whatever nonsense happened on Mirage behind them and put Train very squarely in front of them.
Yeah, it's really, again, good to see that Gaming Gladiators have been able to find themselves the second wind and put themselves in this position. Again, first to 16, as you know, so they only need the 1 round. And now ODDIK have to push everything to the fullest distance here for this overtime. Otherwise, like you said, it is going to go to the full distance of Train. And it really just kind of feels like ODDIK are kind of running out of that, like, firepower, right? It doesn't seem like they're really still winning these duels. They're not, you know, kind of playing the way they were. It just feels like they've really just kind of been going down this hill, and it just keeps going faster and faster, and they don't know how to, you know, get themselves back up. And now it's Gaming Gladiators, the ones that are sitting in a prime position to push this thing all the way to Train. And now ODDIK going for the short control, but again, you have double players on CT side. The smoke's going to block off long, and you do have the lurk of Ponk right now towards B. So they're not really working with a lot here, Paladin. Like, again, I think they're kind of hoping for a little bit of an entry or a gimme. I just can't imagine, you know, again, Gaming Gladiators, they're not playing that kind of style right now. They're playing composed.
Yeah, the turnaround from BSD has been absolutely magical. His opening kills have been paramount to this comeback, and he's not stopping here. A quick double from him, and he wants to continue to press the issue, and he's going to continue to rack them up. 3 kills now for the Opper, and now Ponk is next on his hit list. Can't necessarily claim it there, though, but Nekiz will clean it up, no problem. It's a clean sheet in overtime for the Gaming Gladiators, and they're going to send us to this 3rd map. This lower bracket final is not done yet.
No, it's definitely not done yet. And what a way to bring it back, right? I mean, this is where we saw Gaming Gladiators. They had themselves that 3-0. Then we started to see ODDIK just like pulling through and through, ending that first half to a 6-6. And then really, they were the ones that were in the lead. It got to that 12-9 at one point for ODDIK. And we said there was a little bit of a, you know, a buffer they could work with if there's some mistakes. But those mistakes became way too many and too inconsistent again. And this goes right back to the original point we talked about here, Paladin, is ODDIK are a really strong team to watch, a really fun team, but there's these weird moments where they kind of just hit this moment where the inconsistencies just start to fly all over the place. And that's exactly what we saw here. It felt like this map was theirs, and then somehow, some way, they let it slip. But look, we could dissect that all we want. We're going to take a little bit of a break as we get ready to go to the rail tracks of Train. See you in a bit.
I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. 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 Going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. I'll keep going till my I'll keep going till my I'll keep go till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows. 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 I'll keep going till my speaker calm blows.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and Rolex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon, red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When it down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino. Uh-huh.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till something changed inside of me. Now I'm flying over oceans. Everybody looking at me. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
Okay. Third and final map we go, and it's going to be the knife round to make the determination of who's going to be on which side. But Paladin, we've gone the full distance. It was feeling like, ODDIK were the ones that were going to have themselves a clean sweep, but instead it looks like they not making it look so clean. There's still some dust that they have to get done, and now it's up for grabs for anybody.
Yeah, it is shocking that we're here, but at this point, you just got to commend Gaimin Gladiators for getting to this point. You got to commend BSD with his resurgence in overtime. You got to commend Joda's great work in terms of the rifling as well. Great work.
Yeah, you definitely do. Like you said, I think the biggest factor of that was BSD. The fact that he was able to ignite himself and playing so much better with the op, be able to find some big openers. We talked a lot about it. We were saying, look, like it'd be cool to see what he's going to be able to bring with the op. We didn't see it in Mirage at all. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'll have to go back and watch the VOD because I feel like he didn't have it. But Overpass, it definitely felt like he created a lot of space, and that's what they needed. But now, Gaimin Gladiators are going to be on that T side. ODDIK back on the CT. We saw a lot of gaps in their defensive side from Overpass, and now we're going to see if they've been able to sew up some of the wounds here to figure what they need to do to get themselves a competitive, first half here. Otherwise, Gaimin Gladiators, again, showcasing a little bit of a resurrection on this, and the fact that they're feeling better, Woody, that's not going to help you, brother. You got to hit those shots, and now he's going to have to tuck tail.
Had to do it with making quite a bit of a ruckus as well, so they know he's dropped at this point. He's got this Molotov to stall things out, and Case locks his trusty sidekick to help with some rotations too, but doesn't feel like Gaimin Gladiators want anything to do with that B bomb site. Instead, they're gonna have to go into the waiting arms of coldzera. A little unruly there on the USP, but still finds his man regardless. The bomb should be able to go down now, but this is such a key fight, a huge one. That coldzera wins out. All of a sudden, the CTs have a man advantage situation, and they continue to box in these Ts again and again. They know that they're stuck behind this smoke at this point, but there's no kit involved, mind you, so it's going to have to be a full 10-second defuse, and that means they're going to have to take some duels, the one that SAG is going to win, and there's no way that you can defuse that bomb without showing a little bit of skin. It's all up to coldzera, and he can't find anything. The time has gotten all the way ticked down. Case locks can't find anything, and it's just like Overpass, Laz. Another clawback victory.
Yeah, not bad at all. not bad at all here from Gaimin Gladiators. Again, just playing the post plant perfectly. Like you said, that bomb plant position, like there has to be a little bit of skin shown here. ODDIK, we're trying to get a little bit cheeky despite not having the defuse kit. It really, like, again, I don't know what's going on in the fact that we talk so much about this ODDIK team with their firepower and how strong they are and, like, you know, some of the stardom that we see, but like Coldzera was struggling to get that double kill. We saw that, you know, Woody wasn't able to find a bit of an easy one too. Like it really does kind of feel like, you know, they got the wind knocked out of them. Like something has just really changed here. Some aggression from Nate. He's going to try to get aggressive with MP9. He gets away with it. Oh, you're kidding me. They just feed him and he takes it with so much gratitude here. And now is going to be able to throw this gun to his teammate. A double Galil setup. My, oh my. This is falling apart quickly for Gaimin Gladiators. We were just giving them so much praise and look at how fast it just kind of rebounds.
And they all leave as well. So there's no trade potential for Nekias. And there's 2 Galils picked up. But one of them does hit the ground. Or sorry. A body hits the ground. The Galils are still up, but there goes one of them. Naite does finally hit the dirt. But K-Sox will pick it back up and find a quick double on his own. It leaves it all onto SHZ. He was great in the pistol round. And great on the comeback, but Punk will pick up the pieces and ODDIK desperately needed that one, Laz, it feels like.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, like, look, I mean, for ODDIK on this map, like, statistically, they're going to have to put as many rounds as possible on the CT side. Like, it is a 70% win rate, or 70.2, sorry, to be very specific. And then, you know, going to that T side is a 49.6%. So we're talking a huge difference here. So, like, for these guys, the CT side is going to be the name of the game. For the Gaimin Gladiators, you know, to be honest, you know, it's not the worst map for them either. Like, I mean, not the best statistically either, but their T side, you know, oddly enough, is actually their better end here. Like, this is, you know, pushing 53% on it. So we're kind of seeing, like, the stronger side versus the stronger side statistically. So that's going to be what's really, really interesting about this because, you know, if we can see the Gladiators putting up some really big numbers, you know, that could be a good sign potentially, but there's a lot at stake for this first half, and whew, that's a nice little bit of a quick shot from Coldzera. Nice little bit of a read. Good nade as well, just to put down 50 damage. So Cold's doing some good work here. He's doing some good scouting around, getting some kills, doing some damage. And now you can see that, you know, the Gladiators, again, just sitting back, not much of a game plan, stuck into alley. This is not a fun position to be in, and K-Slox has already cleared T-Con. You already have the one player here, so this really is just a feeding frenzy here for Coldzera. He's going to look for himself, maybe getting the squad. No, he will not. That's going to be the scout activated. Look out. No. Please no. Please no.
They're giving it to him. Oh my goodness, they're giving it to him. But finally, a double swing is available, and BSD is put down. But, man, this guy's had a hell of a resurgence ever since overtime really kicked in on Overpass. He hasn't been looking back whatsoever.
Yeah, and this is what we kind of, you know, again, like, this round for Gladiators, like, you know, the alley control is not a bad idea. I just feel like that much of a commitment, but taking it so slow, I'm not really loving it. I kind of would have liked to see a little bit more utility to flush that out, put, like, maybe a little bit more aggression into there. Like, I think when you're taking it slow, like, they just kind of went almost one by one peaks, allowing Cold, Nate, or Woody, sorry, I'm just so used to Nate doing this with the MP9. He gets away, gets aggressive, and now K-Slox, there we go. They clean it up. They make it look swift and easy.
That's exactly what you're looking for. If you're ODDIK, continue to chain these rounds together. Basically recreate that same condition that you were on Mirage. And get your playmakers off the board again. K-Slox starting off strong. Naite as well. Coldzera on Ivy. These are the guys that you want alive and kicking. Initial gun round situation for the T side would have you think that they take T-Con control early, but instead it's a flash in from the CT side on Ivy. So a lot of deep control established here for the defense. Oh, but that flash is masterful, but it blinds his teammate as well. Oh my goodness, complete 50-50 duel between Naite and Joda, and the former comes out on top. Naite has the option now if he wants to stay, if he wants to leave. but that is so brutal for Joda.
Yeah, it's just so unfortunate. He hasn't been able to find himself a kill yet in this game, sitting in an 0-5. And this is what I'm glad to see in the sense of, you know, for ODDIK, right? Like they're starting to play this, you know, really aggressive CT side. They're getting map control, but it's calculated. It's not just being careless. They're kind of winning these fights. That's where, you know, we said a lot for Nikiz is that, look, like his style is playing slow, you know, really taking that pace, you know, not the fastest amount, but this is good for a team like ODDIK because they're going to get themselves a ton of real estate. They're on the brink here to find this 4th round in their favor. That bomb's already dropped, so this is a little bit of a catastrophic approach, but I can't believe he wins that fight. Now the bomb's retrieved. Oh my God. No way. Oh, Paladin, I can't believe it. How are we here? How is this happening? And it's down to Coldzera, and the veteran will be able to prevail, but my God, again, how do we get here?
Oh, I mean, SHG, just such a sick attempt to bring that one back, and I gotta say, Coldzera played that horribly in a lot of ways. Just having to play the long-range angles with the MP9, no less, against a rifle. I mean, I would never take that duel. Luckily, his burst was absolutely sublime and it worked out, but oh boy, that could have been disastrous for ODDIK to collapse there. And it feels like a lot of echoes of how they were losing rounds on Overpass, where you've got man advantages, you've got key map control, you've got the rounds in the palm of your hands, and you just let it slip, but finally, they turn the page on it, and it feels like they're getting back to that position that they were showing on Mirage.
That's exactly it. Yeah, like I do feel like there's a lot of resemblance here for what we saw in Mirage, and the fact that ODDIK, again, like they're mixing up the CT side quite a bit. Like they're pushing through, you know, the hallways, they're getting that control, they push through T-Con, they really are just kind of putting a lot of work to the CT side. Now we can see Gaimin Gladiators, a nice approach onto this, taking it a little bit faster through hallway, trying to clear something out. They're actually burning a lot of that CT utility, so that's a good thing. Despite the limited amount of investment they put into this, what they're going to need is to get that CTs to burn that, you know, utility as quick as possible, allowing them to maybe have an opportunity to, you know, flush out a spot here in the map and create some space. But they're kind of looking like maybe a little bit of a T-Con and alley approach onto this. Triple player here from the setup of B for the CT side. This is interesting. They've really banked on the idea they're going to be here, or they're like kind of doing a bit of a fake out. Woody now going to be posted up behind Red Train. Can he be able to find this multi-kill? Oh, a massive swing, not even required, but he does it. That could be very costly here for these guys.
Very costly. I mean, they're very closely encircling this A bomb site.
Oh, no.
SHG and Joda find 2 between them, but this 2-on-2 still favors the CT side. Coldzera still alive, still kicking in the back lanes. But this encirclement, how aware is Cold? Very, very aware is the answer. And now it just leaves it up to BSD. Long-range Tech 9 and can't necessarily recover a rifle. So he's going to have to do this, gritting his teeth down and hoping that he can find a straggling CT, but it's not to be. K-Slox will find his man, and ODDIK dodge certain death yet again.
Yeah, and honestly, like for the Gaimin Gladiators, like again, they're still making these really relatively close encounters, right? Like, I mean, again, that was a minimal investment. There wasn't too much, a couple pistols, a little bit of utility, nothing really too flashy. And the fact that came down to a 2v2, or, you know, not a bad situation. Now they got the guns out. BSD's got the op ready to go. Not to put him in the hotspot, but I mean, I feel like he's, again, going to have to make some kind of a big play here. He's going to have to be able to create a bit of an opening. Good CT utility that's going to get burned here through T-Con. So Noise getting a little bit given away here from the CT side as K-Slox actually catches his toes in the flame. But they can nicely, you know, just kind of, again, halt the idea of any, you know, ladder control or through T-Con. And now you see Gaimin Gladiators, they might even try to put a little bit more pressure towards this inside. But they've successfully done a good job burning that utility like I talked about. Like, I think this is, again, a nice play from the Gladiators that's not being overlooked, but I definitely think it's something that goes into effect for them to go for these executes.
Slow down again for Gaimin Gladiators, and they take Pop Dog, but the flash does not hit BSD at all. And instead, K-Slox will just get some information, but it's information that the CT side can't do anything with, because They've just hit the deck instantly. Now, the T side has a free open route into this A bomb site. BSD will continue to lay down the hurt. And it's all up to Punk in the back of the A bomb site, and he's been found out. Back turn, Nekiz will find his man. Gaimin Gladiators keep it simple. They burst off the back of all that control they found on Pop Dog, and they confirm that round with ease.
Yeah, I just really love seeing that, you know, the Gladiators through the thick and thin of this whole best of three, like how well they're hitting their shots and the kind of baiting players out to go for these, you know, like double player swings. Like it really is seeming like, you know, we talked a lot about the synergy and the chemistry, you know, of a team like ODDIK. Definitely getting some good moments here from the Gladiators. Like they really have been able to, you know, shimmy around some situations. They've been able to get some good space working together. It hasn't always been that way, but it feels like kind of since like, you know, Overpass onward, it's gotten a lot better than what we saw originally. And now, I mean, still a 3-round gap here, but there's still plenty of time and plenty of, you know, rounds to be played here for Gaimin Gladiators. There's a player just another on the foot of this, and now the swing from Nate does get burned alive here by the bullets. But do they expect a second player to be here? Woody just posted up. He actually does win that engagement. Oh, Case Locks, he gets given away with just, again, catching his feet in the flames. He gets a little bit too antsy, and he burns his toes once again. Oh, wow.
Oh, my God. Nekiz just turns up the heat. Puts the jets on Woody and completely pants him. Nekiz even goes one further, picks up that sniper, and brings it into a 4-on-2. It's just Punk and cold, but the captain has just, when called upon in these clutch situations, has just surged Gaimin Gladiators forward. Let's not forget that round 24 play he had on Overpass. It just feels like he's able to do it all on his lonesome, and that in and of itself should be commended.
Yeah, I love it. You know, disobeys the smoke. He just gets aggressive. He puts himself, you know, just winning some of these duels. You love to see it. And now with Joda going down, I mean, again, the bomb's at B, so it's not... If the bomb was at A, this would be maybe a different conversation, but if BSD goes down, I was going to say, this turns into a 1v1, and I mean, the timer was getting low, don't get me wrong, but like, could have been one of those things where Cold's like, well, maybe I will go for it. Maybe I'll just go for a run, but nonetheless, Gladiators, they get it done, they get themselves around. I don't know, from my perspective, I don't like the idea that Punk was trying to get aggressive in alley. You could see that as soon as the smoke dissipated, he was just like, okay, I'm going to walk through this, I'm going to see what I can find. I felt like them in the disadvantage with the man already. I feel like that was a really big risk play that I don't know if the reward would have been as good as he thinks it was, but, you know, he gets punished for it.
And now you've got this very weird situation where somehow Woody lives on 3 HP. They're in a force buy situation. And Joda has just waltzed his way out of T-Con. This force buy does not seem to have any sort of potency whatsoever. And it looks like Gaimin Gladiators are knocking on the door of a fourth.
Yeah, Joda's in a nice spot, though. If you can find the timing of this, he might be able to catch one of these guys off guard, and then that might just, again, pry things open. Here's Case Locks. There it is. Exactly that. His teammates were just kind of being a little bit of a distraction, allows him to go for the swing. Woody's done. Gladiators right back into this game. We were talking, what was that, like a 5-2 at one point? And now we're talking a 5-4. So this is where, you know, ODDIK, again, they get themselves in a good lead, and then all of a sudden it just kind of... It all just stops. You know, the shoelaces go onto the wrong feet or they get tied together and they just tumble on over. So now we're talking about the Gladiators in a strong position here. And they're really showcasing, again, this strong T side that I was alluding to, or I was echoing.
Now, a chance for Gaimin Gladiators to get themselves 5 here. Those nades are pretty solid, and K-Sox will go forward, but he's caught on the edges of that smoke. SHZ will find that necessary kill, and now all of a sudden, this game is looking very dire for ODDIK. I mean, how many times are we going to continue to change the script here, lads, in this series?
Yeah, no kidding. And again, like for anybody that's just tuning in too, like again, this is the lower bracket final. So again, whoever loses this series or this map, they're out. And then the other team gets to keep, you know, pressing forward on the lower bracket and then have to fight again to get themselves, you know, into a grand final conversation. But boy, oh boy, you know, we were talking a lot about high praises for ODDIK. We were saying that, you know, really in this matchup, it felt like they were kind of the big favorites in this. But now it kind of seems like, again, they've lost their groove. They've lost their rhythm a little bit. And now Gaimin Gladiators are giving us a really great demonstration of what they've been working on. There was a bit of conversation you and I were having about here at the desk and saying, like, look, like, you know, things have been decent. They've been able to beat some decent competition so far. And there's a reason for it. So now we're back to a tie game just like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you really have to celebrate the great work that Nekiz has been able to do for this team at this point. So many situations where you would just count this team out, say that they don't have enough gas in the tank. They found an individual player to do it at some point or the other. You've had Nekiz, you've had BSD, you've had Joda. They've all had their moments. Even SHG. It's been frags by committee, and they're just doing enough to get it over the line. Oh, now the smoke fades. Coldzera gets caught with his pants down. Nekiz now is going to continue finding more damage. Can't complete the kill on the Woody, and that's where K-Slox decides to extend that man advantage back into their favor. 4-on-3 now with a wounded Woody, but the damage is already done. This T side is hurting.
Yeah, it is hurting, but again, you hit shots like that and getting a kill like that, that's not going to be bad at all. 3-3. Ante still, again, just looking for a fight. He's pushing and shoving. He's trying to see what he can get away with this. And he's still, look how wide he's just swinging this. He wants this fight. Okay, he's going to get it. I was a little worried for him, and now Jota tries to go for the kill, but he actually does miss it. So now 30 seconds hitting the clock. Bomb still in the hands. BSC misses a big shot that could have allowed a little bit of space for him to get out of here, but now he has to worry about different angles. Oh, I thought he spotted the player on the right. I think he did, but it was a little too late. But now 6 is going to be guaranteed for ODDIK as we get into this last round of the first half. And do we see 6s for the Woes again, or do we get ourselves a little bit of a padding here for ODDIK?
I mean, it's absolutely paramount that they get this 7th round. I'm getting a little worried on ODDIK's behalf at this point. But luckily they'll have everything that they could require to get this done. An AWP for Woody, who has not had the best moments in this series. Look at this. Neki is going through his own sandwich smoke. Has completely pantsed Woody, and he's found K-Slox as well. Huge 2-for-1 there from the captain, and it's completely sowed some seeds of chaos into this round. Smoke up into the front of T-Con, but what can you do if you're Naite but tuck tail? What a round so far out of the Gaimin Gladiators.
What an amazing effort here from Nikiz, right? I mean, the fact that he's just like going in and just winning these fights and being this aggressive, and you kind of love to see it. And the fact that he gets away with it, like he was in a strong position, gets away with that double kill. That has put them in a prime position here. But they cannot let it go to vain here. They have to be able to see if they can finish the job that Nikiz has been able to start. Finish the masterpiece here of round number 12 to be able to find this kill, and they will. Nate just gets removed from the equation. And now the last two CT players stuck in Z. They got the utility, they got the defuse kits, but again, look at the space they have to work with. It is minimal. That Molotov is going to push them back. Nades getting thrown. BSD will never go down to the utility. He'll take some damage, but he's still standing. Finally takes the bullet to the side of the head. Is that enough space, though? Is that enough room for these CTs to finally get themselves out of this tight corridor? It's looking grim. It's looking very unlikely now. You can see they've been able to push themselves to the side of this. The nade does catch onto it. Barton just hunting for it. He's going to be the first person. And now it's all just down to this. It's down to Coldzera, the veteran himself, but he can't get the job done. And it is going to be 6s for the Woes. And we're going to take that break as we're in the tie situation of the first half. Okay, the third final map, second half, is all down to this 6. And now it is pushed to the full end here. Paladin, it's now an effort of ODDIK here to show us the T side. Their CT has been, it's been a little bit quiet. It's been a little bit of gasping for air, but now Gaimin Gladiators maybe on the brink to find themselves through this lower bracket final to continue on.
I mean, it's possible. They have fought tooth and nail to get to this point. There's been some absolutely insane moments to get to this point. And now, it feels like the seemingly easier part to get it over the line on this defensive half of Train. Flash at the ready here for BSD to go ham on those dual Berettas. And the C4 on the other end as well. Here comes that flash. And there are players blinded up, but BSD only finds one of the two. Nighty has a chance to leave if he wants. I think that might be the right call, but look at this. Look at Coldzera flanking on the back lanes. He might have been spotted, but Jodo will still go down. Huge opening kill to get from Nighty. And now a bomb plant to be secured. A 3v4 retake. This is tough stuff for the CT side.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy at all, is it? Oh, that's not going to feel good either. Now the Glocks Trying to put up a bit of a surprise. They're going to overwhelm Barton, and now SHZ is going to have to try to do something big, and Z Hallway not going to happen at all. 15-8 for coldzera, putting himself up a pretty star performance here, leading this. I mean, the next closest person is going to be Case Locked with a 10-8, but so ODDIK are going to be able to find themselves that opener. And BSD, like, a really unfortunate situation because he had the right idea, the utility is thrown behind him, he went for the swing. I thought with the dualies it could have been a sure thing, but yeah, nonetheless, I mean, really good trade back from ODDIK. Like, that could have been disastrous, really.
Well, now they've got to find a way to compound on that success. Force buy up for the Gaimin Gladiators, and Woody's getting real frisky here through hell. He's got one kill on a silver platter, and he hears the second deagle as well. Oh, but the kill isn't confirmed, and that gives just a little bit of information over to the CT side, but it's all for naught. They can't actually capitalize on it as Pank goes ham. Big double kill from him, and SHZ, all he can do is stare longingly at T-Con as all his teammates have hit the deck, and an 8th should be secured here for ODDIK.
Yeah, I love that he, like, went for the single shot and, like, just assumed he got the kill. Like, I mean, I guess to be fair, like, if the guy didn't have armor, probably would have been a kill, but
yeah,
man, that was like you said, that was kind of a, you got lucky that he was able to kind of go back for it, but it was a good enough distraction because even then, like, they were like, wait a second, why is he here? And then all his teammates were able to swarm out really, really good. So despite it being a little bit of a potential slip up, it does work out nicely. 8-6, 4 alive, not bad. Bomb still goes down, so a little bit of cash is still getting grabbed here for the T side. But I kind of make the question on this, right? We have the double Mac 10s that's going to be still available for these guys. Like, now, I mean, the question is, do you want to put those into the B bomb site? Do you think going out of T-Con can work with these guns? I guess if they're like maybe the entry players.
I mean, it can, but why risk it, right? At this point, you don't want to go through a smoke potentially and fight against those 5-7s. That's the big worry for me, is that you lose all economic control of the game if you squander a round like this. So instead, Naite, his main attempt should just be keeping these CTs at arm's length. But now he's reloading his gun, and they've pinned him to the wall, but luckily, Woody's gotten to the scene of the crime, and that should be able to get the job done. There goes one more pistol. It's all up to Joda and SHZ. Joda will find one, but that's it. 9 found for ODDIK as the guns come out now for the Gaimin Gladiators, and this is really where the road to recovery for ODDIK will get much more difficult.
Yeah, and the fact that we're going to see these guns, you know, getting placed on the field here is going to be important because, you know, for Gaimin Gladiators, you know, we've seen this before. A 3-round buffer here for ODDIK. They make the bounce back onto this. Again, enough funds here for BSD to get the op out. But this is critical. This is, you know, a big moment here because we see ODDIK are being aggressive. They are kind of, you know, getting some space pretty quickly. That does kind of allow them to have some more options to work with. But Nikiza is going to be able to find a really nice shot to start things off and then capitalize secondly here from BSD. So Woody actually, again, kind of goes for this, like, a little bit of an awkward peek against him, and he loses the better of it. And I almost want to see Woody just kind of straight rifle, to be honest. I feel like his op has been really, really off this whole time since we left Mirage. I feel like he hasn't really shown that impact that he normally can bring. It just feels like it's been a bit of a gap.
Oh, and that's just a poor jump spot there from K-Slops. Here's BSD a free kill, and Barton will shut it down here on the B contact play as well. So clean as you'd like there from the Gaimin Gladiators. And I agree with you to some extent that yes, his op has been very lackluster, but I feel like you need that long line presence on the T side. It's just, there's got to be more impact from it somehow, some way. Either that or you got to up the tempo and take space a little bit quicker on the map. So it gets to a point where you don't necessarily need an op. But so far, neither has been the case, and ODDIK will just have to make it work. But you know, we'll go back to 5 rifles now because of the money situation. We'll see what Woody can get done on that rifle, because right now, BSD and Nekias are trading pretty favorably in round number 17.
Yeah, they really are. Like 16 and 12 from the keys, like not bad at all. Like he's top fragging on his team and essentially top fragging here with Cold. So both these guys putting up some decent numbers. Now Woody is trying to get a little bit more aggressive on the upper corridor here for the B side. Molotov's going to get thrown, so they might just try to again ignore the smoke. They're going to run right through it. And now Barton, he's going to be able to find this double kill and nicely shut down here from the CT side. And ODDIK, I said there was a buffer. They're losing that comfort. It's down to a 1-round differential. They're going to call the timeout. And they do have $4,000 sitting on Coldzera. They also have that same amount here for Nate. Like, but do you really want to go for like this double AK hero play, or do we just kind of play it safe with some light pistols and utility? I feel like that's got to be the better game plan in this one, just considering to have everybody with rifles. But Nate looks like he is going to equip it up. But does Cold go for it too? Oh, he will. Okay. Hero play it is.
This is a real slippery slope, Laz. A loss here, you potentially lose the lead. You give all the economic advantage. Hell, right now, the CTs have such an economic advantage as is. But that's just going to balloon. This could be really, really worrying as far as ODDIK's tournament lives are concerned. A massive risk. What's the call here from Woody to get them back into this game? It's dry contact into the AWP of BSD, and he's done such great work to find one. Now it's the mission of getting out safely, and Joda's definitely giving him some cover to retreat.
Yeah, and he's actually taking it quietly too. And they're actually just going to post up, and ooh, they might give
they
up
think
on
they've
it.
gone out.
Yeah. Oh no, if he re-aggresses on this, it actually could just be a whole field day for him.
Wow.
Ooh, this is a bit of a misplay. Yeah, he's going to be able to find this kill. Here's K-Slox. He's got his knife out. Yeah, gets the kill. Doesn't even have to commit to this. He can just pull back. He can be a nuisance. Yeah, sure. Nice shot from Woody, but again, you're going to need a lot more than that here for round number 18. And now they're kind of stuck. Like, they're in this hallway. They have to figure out what they want to do a little bit differently. Yes, they have just, about 45 seconds hitting the clock on this, but a strong position here for the CT side. Double player in B, you're just kind of, again, allowing Nikis to just play like through hell, essentially. He can just kind of post up a very passive angle, and you would have to clear so many different spots. This is not an easy one for ODDIK.
Yeah, and you only have
but
2 flashes, which is the biggest issue, right? Like, not being able to really find any sort of execution. You're going to have to go dry, and they don't get that first kill, but BSD gives them an opportunity to get back into this one. He's getting pinned onto the side of Cloud, which gives a bomb plant available over to ODDIK. But it's the Alamo. They're going to have to fight tooth and nail to hold on to this C4 control, and it's not to be. Naite hits the dirt, and it's just Woody, who's had a very difficult series. He does find one, but he's getting flanked from every which way. Gaimin Gladiators find 9, and now with the money gone, things turn from bad to worse for ODDIK.
yeah, it really does. But I mean, again, like you said, like the fact that BSD, uncharacteristically was missing that shot, I was kind of thinking ODDIK might have been able to get that sliver of an opening, right? Because that allowed them to get in the site, allowed them to get the bomb down. I was thinking, okay, hang on, maybe they could, but really good retake efforts here from the CT side of Gaimin Gladiators. The fact that, again, they just stay cool, calm, and collected. They don't look like they're... Again, they show that, system they have in place. It works out very nicely with only losing, I think it was 1 player essentially after that. So now the Tech 9s are going to reign a little bit, maybe supreme or maybe not. Nikiz is now going to push himself close to T-Con once again, just getting this intel if he can get some noise cues. But BSC will just sit there patiently here with the AWP, just waiting things out. He's waiting for the swing. An easy one for him. And now it feels like ODDIK, again, this playbook, or maybe just the idea is they're kind of running dry.
Yeah, they're trying so hard to get into brown halls without using any utility, and it's not working at all. BSD's been able to get that first shot off every single time, but here comes that execution. They still get a lot of space here on lane, and it feels like Barton is gonna have to step up big time, and he only finds 1. At this point, BSD is caught on an island, but Joda surges through the smoke and finds 2 of his own. It's all up to Woody again, but At this point, he's just looking for a couple of kills, and he won't find anything beyond that one. BSD ices him out, and it's the lead reclaimed here for the Gaimin Gladiators. Better late than ever, Laz.
Yeah, really, that is the truth, right? I mean, it was, you know, took an absolute beating on the first map, and then they've been able to just fight tooth and nail to get to this point now and getting themselves into a lead just by one. But again, it just really feels like they're playing the better game right now. Like we're seeing some highlighted plays, we're seeing some, you know, like Niki's pushes, but also some good coordination, and it really is surprising to see like ODDIK, the way they're playing this. In my perspective, it's just not. It's not to discredit anything from the Gladiators, obviously, but it just feels like you said, they're fighting for this brown hole control. They're just trying to get, you know, this presence, and then it kind of feels like that's it. Like that's plan one, and then that's all I got. Like nobody else has any other ideas, and these executes are not the most swift for what is surprising to me, considering they're a pretty good trained team. Like they're an 8-3 record. It's one of their stronger maps. So I think, you know, the Gladiators have maybe done some good homework on this.
Absolutely. It does feel like there's a much better understanding of the crossfires a little bit more. You're getting those moments out of Barton in terms of the multi-kill potential as a B anchor who's really had his struggles cut out for him on both Mirage and Overpass. But he's woken up a little bit, and now the rest of the cavalry has also arrived. SHZ with a quick couple kills himself. This spam looked good from SHZ, laying out the hurt. K-Sox can't find anything, and it's just coldzera. It feels like all the fight in ODDIK has been just quickly stamped out. There's nothing here. It's all Gaimin Gladiators as they hit 11.
Yeah, it really is. And like everybody's starting to fire on all the cylinders, like Gaimin Gladiators. It's not even just like BSD with the AWP, it's everybody. Like everybody's relatively close in terms of the KD ratio. Everybody's contributing, which is great to see. Now that was kind of the biggest thing that I was getting concerned with ODDIK, right? Is that it kind of feels like there's these blips or moments where they're able to get some good, you know, openings, or able to get themselves some good kills, but then it kind of falls short very, very quickly, and creating, you know, or making some mistakes that I would say are kind of uncharacteristic for this team. But now you're just seeing that Woody's just going to give up his body. Nikisi's going to get these free kills. They're just taking these fights one by one. Like the different parts of the map, all three of them die within seconds. It was 134, and look at this now. It's a 5-on-2. This is, I don't know if they're tilting or they're frustrated or they're out, but this is not looking good here for ODDIK fans.
You know, I celebrate the great work that Woody can do in terms of the calling department, but unfortunately, the game plan has not been there. There hasn't been that big mid-round play. There hasn't been that textbook execution that has pulled them back into contention. It just feels like they're trying to run into a brick wall and hope that it creates an opening somehow. And this might be one of those openings, potentially. Barton has let a player pass by him. And BSD is the opper, so K-Slox has found potentially 2 kills. This is going to be so hard, even though he knows where both of these players are. Oh my goodness, here's one, but he can't find any one of them. Finally, he'll convert onto BSD. Naite there for another trade, but boy, oh boy, is this going to be still a tough one to convert. He does find another, and he's aware that a flank from Nekiz could definitely be on the cards. But he hasn't figured out where SHD has gone off to. And finally he appears, but Naite finds one more. It's out of the one-on-one, but Nekiz up on heaven, completely disregarded. And just in the nick of time, Gaimin Gladiators find map and match point.
Oh man, you gotta feel for it. You really do. Like you said, the fact the play with the Deagle was so close, could have made an absolute banger of a clip. But it shows how hard it is to use a Deag, right? Like, despite that shot, like, you know, he had it perfectly lined up, misses it, does get the kill, like you said, but it could have been totally different if he was able to find that instant Deagle, get the offer. That probably wouldn't have been the one-on-one situation. So, nonetheless, Gaimin Gladiators, through all the adversity, have now put themselves a map and series point here in the lower bracket final. Something that, you know, probably a lot of people in the chat were not thinking was possible, but now they've been able to fight through the absolute distance to get here and one more round needed, and ODDIK are done, and they are going to be packing the bags here for this ECL Season 50 Cup. They'll be done.
You think about the 10-6 lead that ODDIK had, even on Overpass 12-9, and then the rollover on overtime. Credit to BSD and Joda to command them throughout that overtime. And now it's been a real team effort here on Train. They've battled back tooth and nail, and they've snuffed out ODDIK at the last breath. Nekuz will find one more. Joda looking into T-Con, still has an opportunity to free kill. And from back red, Nekuz will look to put the final nails in the coffin. BSD will find another. Joda with one last hurrah. And there goes SHZ. 13-9 Gaming Gladiators lift themselves into that consolidation final. And credit to them, lads. They 100% deserve this one.
They really do. I couldn't agree with you more. Like, really, really impressive stuff. Again, we saw ODDIK just putting up a big showcase here on Mirage, but it feels like ever since then they just kind of let the gas get depleted. But at the same breath, like Gaming Gladiators, they really did play the better game. Like, everybody started to pick up the frags. Everybody was starting to play the better, you know, execution of their style. It really just felt like as rounds kept going, the better they were getting and the worse that ODDIK were. So, you know, really, really impressed to see. I was kind of putting ODDIK as a big favorite in this one, but I'm glad to be surprised. I'm glad to see, you know, the comeback story, considering, like you said, these 12-9 leads, you know, pushing to overtime and then just kind of letting things fall apart. Like, that's where you can't give up, right? Like, despite the situation, you can always come back into the game, and Gaming Gladiators have proved it right here and right now.
Absolutely. I mean, really commendable effort from them from top to bottom. And now, I mean, hey, getting a win like that automatically catapults you in the rankings as well. I mean, let me take a look at the VRS increase that they get because of that. That is, wow, yeah, it's +7 spots up in the ranking. So they're up to 66. And now they await, I believe, the loser of Red Canids and Dusty Roots, which I would say they most likely might play Dusty Roots, which is a very winnable game. I mean, there's a real shot at the title here if they want it. It's going to be an arduous one, but hey, these guys have been through the ringer and then some and have come out the better of it.
It's very true. And like you said, like the next matchup, just kind of waiting in the wings here now for Red Canids taking on Dusty Roots, which is going to be tomorrow. So for them, like, they're kind of in this really unique spot too, because now they can actually just sit there, watch the game. They can kind of just see how things are going. They can make a lot of notes about, both these teams regardless. So I think for these guys, like, they're in a prime position right now, like you said, to potentially win this whole thing, waiting to see how things go out tomorrow. But let's not forget, there's some matches tomorrow, folks. And then, of course, there'll be games on the Saturday and the Sunday. So you make sure you check that all out. That's going to be it for us here for Paladin and Laz here for this cast tonight. But thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed the show. We absolutely did as well. And congratulations to Gaming Gladiators keeping themselves alive through this cup. And we'll make sure to find out more when we see you tomorrow.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Kidia.
I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. I'll keep going till my feet become blown. till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm down. I'll keep going till my speaker calm down. I'll keep going till my speaker calm down. Till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm down. I'll keep going till my speaker calm down. I'll keep going till my speaker calm down. I'll keep going till my speaker calm down.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brother since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me.